The new Modus Super Series champion.
Oh my word!
It's another incredible moment tonight.
Jeff Smith.
It's match start.
5-star performance.
Ball for big fish.
It's
Jack Drayton!
Watch out.
Aim shot on the fifth leg.
Just give him the name Vizina.
So he put the wheels in motion. Oh, no mistake whatsoever.
Lee Evans.
Decides to go 18s first here, Richie. Now that's a dangerous ploy, but then the double 18s have worked a treat. He's hit that.
Richie Burnett.
Meulenkamp to mop up. Another 25, leads double top. And that's a 12 darter to respond. And what a contest. Double 16 to get it wrapped up 4-1. Double 16 is found to seal it. Yeah, it's Friday night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, and Group B is about to come to its close. So welcome along. We are here once again on Pluto TV. So, come the end of play this evening, we will know the 6 players that are going to be competing in the penultimate finals night before we head to Champions Week come the end of July. It's heating up and the action is about to get big and bold. And we're going to be watching it all in the company of the asset Paul Nicholson this evening. And look, Lee Evans won 8 points last night. Scott Taylor showed some brilliance. And we're expecting maybe a little bit more of an X factor this evening, maybe in comparison to some of the stuff that we watched in Group C this afternoon.
Yeah, there's definitely more quality in this group, and the dynamic of the group is very different because you've got one person who is looking very comfortable in making Saturday night in Lee Evans. You've got Taylor, who is the flair player of this group, but there are 3 players who have got that element of doubt coming into night 2, so lots to talk about.
Well, this afternoon, it was all about the finish to Group C, where it was James Marcroft on his debut that got over the line to win the group. Now, it was edgy, it was nervy at times, but look, to get through to Saturday on debut, it's some achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the conditions were really, really tough for a debutant because I hasten to say that James will have never played in conditions like that before, but he was able to find his best shot of the entire week with his very last dart. And that was what got him into position to win the group because Devon Peterson wasn't able to get the requisite amount of legs in his final match. So James through, and he knows that when it comes to Saturday night, he will have to play better.
So this is the tail of the tape as far as the week is concerned. Lewis Pride winning Group A on Wednesday afternoon, and those are 2 heading through Group C earlier, and Group B is how things look right now. Lee Evans at the top, 4 wins out of 4 on night 1. Now, he was here in the studio late yesterday and he was saying he was happy with the wins, but he feels that the performances need to be up tonight.
The way he was speaking about his performances, I look at it differently to the way he does. So he says, yeah, I'm undercooked, my doubles weren't very good. But here's the thing, he might not believe that he's playing very well, but he's still playing to the level where it's better than anybody else. So he is still consistent, and there is another level to find. But isn't it exciting that he's still able to be undefeated on night 1 without his best stuff? Consistency is key with Lee. He's not a flair player. Yes, I know he's got a 9 darter on a Saturday night. That is a flair thing to do. But week in, week out, in local darts, here at the Modus Super Series, and wherever he wants to go next, consistency is something that he really can find.
In terms of Scott Taylor yesterday, he was the player that provided the X factor in terms of the big finishes, the big average. But actually, if you pull it apart, there was also some ropey bits in there.
So much stuff is going on with Scott. We started at the beginning of the week saying that he doesn't play a lot of competitive action these days compared to previous years when he was on the Pro Tour, maybe doing Challenge Tour. And this is what he does predominantly. But his range is way too big. His low game is way too low. We like his 109 average stuff, which we saw evidence of last night. And he's the person who can average comfortably over 100 this week. He's the only person who seems to do it. But that lower level's got to be climbing, because even though he's capable of putting that big performance, he's someone who leaves himself rather exposed if he has an off game.
Right, let's have a look at the odds and see what the bookies think about tonight's action. Lee Evans goes off the 1-3 favourite, but we saw in the table 3 players on 2 points. It's all quite tight between the lot of them. They fancy Meulenkamp more than the others. Would you tend to agree?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I think what we saw from Richie Burnett last night was a bit up and down. I think if you're looking for someone to deal an early blow, it might be Meulenkamp. He had one terrible game last night, but the other 3, he looked pretty solid. So if he can boss the games that he's got early, if he can keep his composure, because a couple of times last night he did lose it, then I can understand why the odds compilers have got him at 3rd favourite.
18 plus, gamblerway.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series. Let's get into game 1 of our night then, shall we? It features Carl Wilson up against Lee Evans. It's actually top versus bottom. Let's hear from Carl. It was a frustrating night for him at points, but he feels like if he can carry on the way that he has done, tonight could be a better night for him. Carl, I can imagine a mixture of emotions following last night. Probably happy with the way that you played, but disappointed with the results overall.
Yeah, 100%. I felt I played well. I found some scoring, slowed myself down on the finishing a little bit, pinged out some nice finishing, and then ended up seeing myself bottom of the group. Felt a little bit hard done by. Felt I was probably one of the most consistent of the evening, but that starts. You can't win them all.
When you did wake up this morning, you're thinking about a planned attack. What were you saying to yourself, particularly about last night?
It's hard to put a finger on it, but today I've just got to take one game at a time. That's all I can do, take one game at a time and hopefully go through the car, which is very tough with the talent in there, and see how it goes.
Because I can imagine you feel as if the way you played last night, if you play similar to that, maybe a little bit better this evening, you're going to get a bit more joy, or at least you'd hope to.
Oh, 100%. I've just got to keep doing what I'm doing, and I know I've been consistent, but like Scott showed yesterday, he turned up with 108. I need to be doing that against players now to get them wins and get over that line and get through to Saturday night.
And more generally, is that the next step of your evolution as a player? Because we've seen you here for a couple of years now. We've seen you do some good stuff. Are you at the point now where you feel like maybe it's time to take that next step, maybe try and find that next level within yourself?
100%. I feel over the past couple of years I've been steady in what I've been doing and that, but now it's time to push. I've been putting some good results in playing wise on the Challenge Tour, just not getting over the line in some games, and same here. I just need to push on to that next level now and take my career further.
Richie, all the very best. Good luck out there, Carl.
Thank you very much.
So Carl Wilson kicks off the evening against Lee Evans. For Evans, any win tonight will guarantee of his qualification through to tomorrow evening's finale. He may not even have to win a game tonight, potentially, depending on what happens elsewhere, to seal his spot through to the big one, which is where Carl Wilson wants to head to again, where he feels like he belongs now. 5 times a weekly finalist in the past. He is looking to do so for a 6th time. Runner-up in the previous series from Royal Tunbridge Wells in Kent, up against Lee Evans from Kempsford down in the southwest. Last time he was here, got to the semi-finals. Has won a week in this format. Series 1, week 5. Got the bear of Neil Duff in the final. Looking to make it through to a second Champions Week. With Anton Mays, the man in the middle. He's taking charge of the action on this Friday night. And it's a Friday night, which Lee Evans will be hoping is nothing short of a procession. Get through this one, then he can enjoy a 3-lap coronation towards the latter end of the evening. But Carl Wilson knows he's got to be at it at the B of the bang. He can ill afford to get off to a sluggish start this evening.
Yeah, you're not wrong about Lee, because 1 win from the 4 seems plausible at this stage, and I fully believe he's going to get that win. But just imagine if he loses this first game to Carl, then he loses to Richie Burnett, then he's got to win 1 from 2. So what you got to do is treat this first game like the most important game of your entire week. And interestingly, Lee was the first player in the building tonight.
83.
So he's left no stone unturned. He got here early. And that is something that Carl will recognise, because when he graced the practice room,
97.
Lee was already there.
Well, yesterday, Carl Wilson had the highest running average of the 5 players in this group, but yet had the least amount of darts at a double.
96.
Make that make sense. So he averaged 90.27 for the evening, but yet only had 18 attempts at the outer ring, and Richie took 8 of them. Now, you might be thinking, well, why is that the case?
97.
Well, it was mainly because he had an inflamed average in that game against Scott Taylor, in which he got a couple of opportunities at a double and got mashed. He averaged 93.82 in this game against Lee Evans yesterday and got mashed.
I require 156.
Now looking to exact a little bit of revenge here. 156 to take out the opening leg.
140. Lee require
It would be
127.
typical of Wilson's week if he does not get a dart at a double in this leg. It is the ball.
89.
Not this time, so Wilson does get a chance
requires 16.
to start with a hold of throw.
2 4s.
Game shot on the first
Gets
leg.
the Wilson
Carl
Road
Wilson.
Show up and running
Second
on
leg
this
is Lee to
Friday
throw
night.
First. Game on.
I don't know how you feel about this, Henry, but of the bottom 3, Meulenkamp, Burnett and Wilson,
85.
they're all sitting on 2 points. The leg difference doesn't mean anything right now. By the halfway point of the night, it might. But I've been doing some digging into this series.
140.
Who got what to win the group in Group B? Who got what to be second? And crucially, who amassed points to get third?
100.
And what did they get? There is a very clear-cut calculation as to how you get through this group tonight.
83.
It is as clear as the skies have been in Portsmouth all week. If you win 3 out of your 4 games tonight and you're in the bottom
46.
3, you're probably going to get there. The only reason I say probably is because if one of the others does the same, that's where the leg difference comes in. I say this because everybody who has been third in this series in Group B has had at least 8 points.
85.
2 occasions.
Carl, you
they
require
had
104.
6 from here, which is why he went for the 16th. Now the 888 leaves itself at 80. Doesn't have to contemplate top stops.
2 singles. Absolutely. Did this last night and he's
84.
gone a bit too far north, but better off to go far north than far south.
It works out in the end. Double left after a dozen.
65.
Carl Wilson knew he had to get off to an
Oh, you
impactful
require
start,
20.
and this might well be just the fillet.
Game shot on the
13
second
darts
leg.
to 2-0, 100.2 the average for Carl Wilson.
Third leg is Cole to throw first. Game on.
I said the leg difference didn't make any difference because there's only 1 leg between Burnett, Meulenkamp and Wilson. It will mean more if Wilson gets off to a
45.
hot start. We're looking at 2 players who are firmly
85.
at this level, but who are definitely looking further. We've heard it from the lips of Wilson. If I want to
60.
contend with these guys and the people above them, I've got to put in those 108s like Scott Taylor did to me. We're talking about lofty ambition.
121.
Nothing wrong with that.
$96. 140.
That is a 140 that his mate Luke Humphries would be proud of. That was seriously good.
Crafted nicer than a pale ale.
60. Lee require
Yeah, he's got the
155.
luxury of time here. He's got 6 to get the break back as Evans.
The first time in this game, he's had a little bit of time to play with.
89.
Not the treble he wanted, but not the worst outcome. This should be a 140.
140.
Very well done.
Lee
He was
requires
able to
66.
sandwich in between those two barrels. It was like a double cushion. Now what do? You got 51. Choose a primary double. And first, do your own impression of the Matrix. At the worst possible moment as well. Double 16. Very well
Shot on
done.
the third leg.
That is so
Lee
impressive.
Evans.
Not only to hit it, but with a distraction.
Fourth leg is Lee to throw first. Game on.
Well, let's break down Lee Evans' night last night then. He topped the table, having amassed a maximum of 8 points, now 3 legs away from qualifying through to tomorrow's final. Average for the night was as steady as steady could
60.
get. 86.8 was his average for the evening. Only had the 180 in net, and in terms of his finishing, it was 33%. 16 hits
100.
from 48 attempts on the double. He pretty much played to what we've said in the past is the Super Series par for the course. The Mike Warburton par for the course.
60.
Yeah, that's fair. But even when he's putting in those numbers, he is far from satisfied.
140.
But I think he understands, based on what he was saying about playing vault events close to home, he knows he's going to be tested more here. So he needs to play a little bit better.
28.
Great players always play better when they're surrounded by great players. I remember years ago, I went to the 2001 Northumberland Open. I looked around the room, I saw a lot of familiar faces, and then there were 2 players in there who were a little bit more familiar.
100.
One was Ronnie Baxter, the other one was John Boy Walton. Spoke with John that day because he beat me. And he said, I feel more pressure in this environment than I would if I went to the British Open.
100.
Because they're expected to win. When Lee comes here, he's not expected to win as much as he would in inferior company.
84.
I don't mean that
Call you require
disrespectfully.
101.
I mean that because of reputation.
Well, they to re-establish the 2-leg buffer. Double 16. And unlike
69.
earlier, the single 9 was hit. How many times did we see that target in terms of the approach play get bodged earlier on this afternoon?
99. Call you require 32.
There's an underused word. Bodged.
Very got to thank Rod Studd for bringing that back into fashion.
Game shot on the fourth leg. Cole Wilson.
And I think we can thank Jan van Veen for bringing that into fashion.
Fifth
The little
leg is
guide
Cole
on the
to throw
outside and the
first.
slider.
Game on.
Well, at the tail of the tapered turn to the leg-by-leg play. 17 and 13 put Wilson into a 2-0 lead. 15 data to
57.
get Lee Evans back into the match, but Wilson getting the second consecutive break again in 6-visit range.
Well, when you've thrown 47 darts
95.
for 3 winning legs, that's about 96. Pretty good.
140.
I think it's fair to say that Wilson has turned up just a little bit sharper tonight than Lee.
Is it difficult, though, when you know you only need 1 win to progress and you've got 4 cracks at it?
Yeah, but does he know that?
He knows that because he said it in the interview last night, so I'm pretty sure he does.
59.
Interesting, okay. depending on what happens tonight, 8 points
100.
might even be good enough to get through in any spot, but you do not want to count on that. I've seen it before with Keelan Kay. He won all 4 on a Thursday, and he didn't win a game on a Friday, and he only just
100.
made it.
Well, Jared Cole won all 4 on Thursday, lost all 4 on Friday and went out. His driver that night had a very glumsome journey home.
140.
Curiously, when they played in the early hours of this morning, Wilson had an average near 94. He lost 4-2.
96.
Evans' average was
he
84.
requires 64.
It was nearly 10 points fewer, and he still won by 2 legs. The roles have reversed.
Double 16.
Game shot.
To wrap
And the
up a
match,
4-1
Carl
win.
Wilson.
And for Lee Evans, the champagne is very much on ice. Well, Carl Wilson knew he had to get onto a quick start this evening. And off to a quick start he is. A 4-1 win. Decent stuff that. 93.7 average. 4 from 7 in terms of the finishing. A lot to like and a lot of work for Lee Evans to do. We're going to take a short break, and when we return on the other side, we're going to see Scott Taylor. Now, he put in the best performance of last night, averaged just under 109, and he'll take on Meulenkamp in desperate search of points. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, the night got started with a 4-1 win for Carl Wilson against Lee Evans. Average just underneath the 94 mark, 4 from 7 in terms of his doubling in that particular contest. Game 2 sees Ron Meulenkamp up against Scott Taylor. Meulenkamp, who won the opening game yesterday, but that was as good as it got for him on Thursday night. Work for him to do up against Scott Taylor, who provided the best performance of anybody in an individual game yesterday. That average of 108.75 and a 4-1 win against Carl Wilson was 4 from 4 in the doubles. In fact, yesterday he went on a spell where he was 6 from 6 in terms of his doubling. And it really was a key strength of his. He hit 2/3 of all double attempts he had last night. 14 hits from just 21 attempts.
Yeah, at one point, it was even higher. At the start of the game with Ron Meulenkamp, it was 80%.
125.
He starts tonight in a very, very good position. 6 points. If he has a 50% win ratio tonight, that will be good enough for him to
42.
make another Saturday. But Ron's got a lot of work to do. You're right about winning that first game. It looked very promising. But the second game that he played, you thought, okay.
100.
He's lost 4-2 to Lee Evans. It's just a little bump in the road. Come round 3.
100.
A flabbergasting performance where he averaged sub 70 and you thought, what went wrong?
Well, first things first, it looks like Scott Taylor's been to one of the many reputable barbershops in the local Portsmouth vicinity.
I think there's about 40 of them.
Well, there's about 4 down this road alone, including one which does my hair, which some may say that's the one to avoid.
Sorry, where's my violin?
140.
I always used to say, you know, when Adrian Lewis used to get his hair cut, he'd be dangerous. Never got his hair cut enough.
Micah Richards gets his hair cut before he goes on Match of the Day every single time.
Everybody needs a routine.
I think that's the next one to ask the bosses. I think we need to have our own hairdressers in here.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Nor do I.
40. Ron, you require 156.
It's a fairly slow start. Sometimes you see these experienced players who've played on the Pro Tour get out of the traps immediately. I hold him to very high standards. And even 15 darts thrown with 16 left. It's not a slow start, but it's not a fast one.
And I think it's fair to say that for a number of years, Ron
16.
Meulenkamp was probably the standard bearer for the Pro Tour.
Game shot on the first
Fine,
leg.
16
Ron
points in
Meulenkamp.
dart 16.
Second
If
leg
you're
is
looking
Scott
at
to throw
players that were
first.
kind of hovering
Game
around
on.
that 64 mark, that were constantly just keeping themselves ahead of that cut line at the end of the year, Ron Meulenkamp will be around about that particular point, or at least he was for a number of years.
I think he's one of the best players of the last 15 years not to have won a PDC title, that's for sure.
And there was a period where it looked like perhaps he was just beginning to tread in the right direction, was beginning to qualify for things like the Match Play of the Grand Prix, but was then never able to take that next real big kick on.
Scott Taylor's just celebrated the fact that Ron got a hold of that fly. He's on Team Ron. That was quite amusing. I tell you, Ron Meulenkamp's got fast hands.
100.
But in terms of Ron's night last night, average of 85.17 over the course of his 4 matches, but it was a doubling that let him down, just 25% on his doubles, 8 hits from 24 attempts, despite being the big 180 hitter yesterday. 6 of them over the course of the session.
59.
Add the fact that that 8 from 24 is actually effectively a stat from 3 games because one was the only player that didn't get a dart at a double in a game last night in his 4-0 bash up by Richie Burnett.
Yeah, that was the game
85.
that caught everybody off guard, including Ron. Needless to say, he can't afford to do that tonight. If he is to be defeated,
59.
I think
Score
he can
require
afford
155.
one loss, but I don't think he can afford a 4-0 loss.
And although Scott Taylor looks as if he's in a decent position overnight,
135.
there's also still a bit of an air of vulnerability. If he loses this first match, then Ron moves on to 4 points. You would have seen Carl Wilson move on to 4, and then Richie Burnett plays Lee Evans in the next. And so if Burnett wins
100,
that,
score
you're in a
required
position where
20.
we're in a darty no man's land where Evans is on 8 and all the others are on 6.
Doesn't like the angle.
10.
Doesn't like the result. Just so happens he's now got 3 darts at double 5, which was good enough to win Series 6. But he didn't need all 3. Scott is just eagle-eyeing everything. If looks could kill, he'd be General Zod.
General Zod, but this game being played at the pace of PC plod right now.
83. Score you require 10.
What's the story of Balamory in leg 2?
Game shot on the second
Very
leg.
good.
Scott Taylor.
Just like the final shot of Series 6, that one.
Third
One
leg is
above,
Ron
one
to
in.
throw first.
1
Game
dart
on.
to spare. Not even sure if he's wearing the same colour
140.
shirt tonight. Was he wearing the blue?
Yesterday it was in the green. Scott Taylor's right
85.
side of the shirt. It almost reminds me of a raffle book because it's a different colour every night. So you've got the red raffle ticket, you've got the blue raffle ticket, the green raffle ticket, the yellow raffle ticket. I reckon the other half of the shirt was just
140.
raffle tickets, which is used up for a meat raffle once upon a time.
96.
Did you grow up in 1970s England? Do you go to fetes in the summer?
No, but I've been to meat raffles.
140.
My local on a Sunday does a meat raffle at half time during the late football match. And the landlord will
81.
shout out
Ron,
rather
you require
enthusiastically
81.
the colour of the raffle ticket.
Do you step into the past when you go into this place?
I don't think it's seen a lick of paint since I was born, that pub, I'll be honest
49.
with you.
Well, answers on a postcard what happened there.
$77.
This game really has been a mishmash of a lot of things.
32.
And incredibly, after all that, we're still only in the dying embers of leg 3.
Yeah, and Scott's just realised he's done something that he very rarely does. Miscalculation. Giving Meulenkamp 6 darts from here if he needs them. Well, what are you thinking here, Ron? You're not moving across to the right-hand side?
No score.
Well, come what may, he's going to come back for 32. Meanwhile, in the background, Scott Taylor's feathers are just beginning to get ruffled a little bit.
44. Ron, you require 32.
Second time of asking.
Game shot on the third leg.
And
Ron
this time
Meulenkamp.
it is absolutely perfect.
Fourth leg is Scott to throw first. Game on.
This is the kind of performance that if you can replicate it throughout the night, you will do a lot of damage.
180.
That is, of course, unless Taylor starts finding that ridiculous level that he's capable of. By the way, I don't know what Carl Wilson's done to Scott this week,
100.
but Taylor is 4-0 up on Wilson. And his last 2 games against him, he's averaged over 100.
58.
Sometimes Scott Taylor just needs the right dance partner. Look at Tom Sykes in that Series 6 championship with them two. They had bruiser after bruiser that week. And ultimately, it'd be Taylor that would go on and win that particular tournament.
Oh, there's murder on the darts floor. So you better not kill the bull.
40.
No singing.
Coming from you.
Yes. Hypocrisy 101. Sophie Ellis Bextor sung that. Let's keep it that way.
36.
Who is the best singer in darts?
Oof.
It's not Stephen Bunting before
No,
anybody says it. It's not
100.
Adrian Lewis.
Warby's okay. Mike Warburton can sing.
The right answer is probably Andy Bolton.
Wait, he was on the X Factor, which is
91.
why he's the X Factor. Anthony Dundas has a good singing voice.
I tell you who is quite impressive as a singer, but it's not a name that a lot of people would know. Tori Kewish,
Yes.
Australian lady dart player.
91.
She is
Score
really,
you require
really good fun.
136.
Another just underneath. And so failure to get that means Meulenkamp has an opportunity
87.
to try and get the biggest finish on the
require
board.
170.
Yet another missed single. Please don't let that catch on tonight. We had enough of that in Group C.
$58. Scott, you require 49.
So he has to burn a dart to get to a double to make it a level game. Might have worked out for the best.
39.
And maybe not. He gestures
Ron,
as
you
if to
require
say
112.
it wasn't close.
Well, this would be somewhat of a steal if Ron can get this. Now, he needs the one treble to give himself a poke at a double.
Still got a chance. But the chance has gone for now.
56.
Last time Taylor was here,
Scott,
it
you
was
require
one up,
10.
one in.
It's been a happy hunting ground before, but not on this occasion. And he's decided to try and go
6.
directly for the double one,
Ron,
but
you
then
require 56.
missed the big three altogether. Fair to say that Scott Taylor's world isn't quite in motion just yet. And that is a
Shot on
break
the
for Ron
fourth leg,
Meulenkamp to
Ron
put himself
Meulenkamp.
3-1 to the good. And importantly, it gives him the
Fifth
darts
leg is
to get
Ron
over the
throw
line.
First. Game on.
Why does it feel like Wilson and Meulenkamp are just going to trade blows again? Because if Meulenkamp wins this 4-1, they're back to a state of
140.
inseparability again. Meulenkamp would be on 4 points minus 2, 12 legs 1, the exact same mark that Carl Wilson finds himself on.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. And then Richie Burnett's under big pressure.
58.
And just imagine if Ron does get this job done. And then Burnett beats Evans. All of a sudden, Evans is under big pressure.
180.
We saw multiple players going into the last 2 rounds this afternoon in Group C.
134.
Nobody was safe at that point. Nobody was through. It was only until the last round did we realise that Devon Peterson had actually made it.
88.
Meulenkamp here looking at 93 to wrap this up by 4 legs to 1 scoreline. And it looks like from here, he's going to be job done and job done well. Average in excess of 91.
This is a bit of a sneaky performance from Ron, isn't it?
53.
It's been a little patchy at times, but it's just a little above that level that you would classify as par
25.
for the Modus Super Series.
Ron, you require 40.
Well, Scott Taylor got away with performances like this at times yesterday. He's not going to here, you feel. And
Game
he's
shot.
got
And
what
the
to do
match,
because Ron
Ron
Meulenkamp, courtesy of a 4-1 win against the former series champion, puts himself onto 4 points. Him and Carl Wilson, they're back to a state of being inseparable. 4-1 Meulenkamp wins. Evans Burnett next. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the Ron Meulenkamp got the better of Scott Taylor by 4 legs to 1. So, we've seen a 4-1 win for Carl Wilson over Lee Evans, a 4-1 win for Meulenkamp over Taylor. Now we're going to see Richie Burnett, the third of those gaggle of players that were on 2 points overnight. And he takes on Lee Evans. Another opportunity here for Evs to try and qualify himself through to the finals. Now, things could get rather awkward rather quickly for Lee. If he loses this one, then he'll stay on 8 points and he'll see the walls just begin to close in on him a little bit. And the fact that he lost his first game 4-1 means in terms of the legs difference, he's even seeing that little bit of security just whittle away a little bit. As for Richie Burnett, it was patchy, I think is probably the best way to describe his opening night. never really, truly got going. There was glimpses of moments, but a lot of missed darts at a double. And it just felt like when push came to shove, he was just not able to really find what he would have wanted from last
That's
night.
Vegas
So
lead to
average
throw
just under
first.
79
Game on.
for the evening over the course of Thursday's play. And in terms of his doubling, well, he missed a lot. 8 from 31 on the ad swing. That is not going to cut it at this level.
60.
I think his night was summed up in two things. The 3 games he lost, he didn't play very well. The one game he
100.
did play a lot better in, his opponent didn't really show up. So imagine if he didn't have to play as well as he did in the win he got
60.
against Meulenkamp, and if he'd put the performance from that game into somebody else, he walks away with 4 points, in my opinion, not 2.
30.
But he's the one under pressure because the 2 people that he was alongside in the table coming into night 2, they've already done their job by winning their first game. That means that he's got to follow suit.
135.
If he doesn't, he's the chaser and probably will be for the rest of the night.
60.
Well, he didn't play poor. He just got outplayed, didn't he, by Caldwell Savage, just under 94. It was all right for Mevs. It was kind of a performance which was a little bit too tight, really. 85 average. And he got a couple of
83.
opportunities at a double.
Lee
It
require
was a bit weird,
121.
that game, because the averages for Evans and Wilson were pretty much the same as the game they had in the early hours.
57.
And the fixture result was completely reversed. It's like the poster child for saying that averages lie.
140.
Well, some people think they're worth more than
Lee requires
others.
64.
Evans here looks at 64 to put himself one up. The treble 8 leaves tops. And
Game
that
shot on the
leaves
first
nothing.
leg, Lee Evans.
And that's first blood to Lee Evans.
Second leg
Literally.
is Richie to throw first. Game on.
That was 2 clean kills.
$84.
That first checkout as well of 64
140.
emphasises just a little bit of extra sharpness that maybe he didn't have in that first game of the night. One thing he said to us in the early hours, around about 1:20 in the morning, was that he prepared for game 3 on Thursday night. He had to get here a little bit earlier tonight
140.
because he was starting in game 1. This will feel a bit more familiar because it's game 3, right? He might have looked at game 1 tonight as a bit of a bonus. I said it should have been a final.
60.
He might have taken a different tactic to it.
Well, if you got here that early, you may have seen Devon Peterson on the way out.
99.
I know that Devon's not going to be happy with the way he played, but he'll be happy with the fact that he's in Saturday. How many people have you seen over the last 4 years that have played really well and
140.
didn't make it? Devon and James from Group C didn't play that well, but are there.
94. Lee require 161.
As our good friend Chris Mason was saying, they don't write averages on trophies. The 161
136.
also isn't written on trophies, unless it's the high
Richie
checkout
require
price potentially,
84.
but that would have put him 2 up.
Second time he's missed it on the bull in this group. Richie leaves the bull himself.
59.
And he gets a different part of the green.
Lee require
I
25.
know he's averaging about 89 and change, but there seems to be a bit of a poise, a bit of a focus about Rich. There's no histrionics that we saw last night from
Game
him.
shot on the second
problem
leg,
is Lee Evans is just beginning to find a range That's a 14
Third leg is
darter,
Lee to throw
and that's
first.
a 2-0 lead, and that puts him
Game
to
on.
within the halfway point of qualification through to tomorrow evening's final. This is a bit of an
100.
uppage in level.
Yeah, needed. Because like I said earlier tonight, if he loses his first 2 games, then he's got to win 1 game from 2, not 1 from 4.
97.
But if Richie Burnett were to lose this game here, not only would Lee Evans qualify, like you mentioned, Henry, but Richie's realistically got to win all of his games tonight
140.
after this to get to the magical 8 points that he needs to qualify. Interesting game for me is
140.
Richie Burnett versus Meulenkamp in game 5. It might be as cut and dry
100.
that if Burnett loses this and he loses to Ron, he's left himself with too much to do.
$121. Lee require 161.
So 161 here for Evans to put himself 3-0 to the good and to put himself 1 away from qualification. Can't be done now.
90.
Look at a 143
Richie, you
to
require
get
143.
some kind of foothold back into the contest. Unable to take, and so Evans should from here get a dart at a double
43.
to establish a 3-leg gap.
Lee, you require 71.
This is a hurdle check out if you don't get the treble. Over to the 18 and add that to the missed single charts.
31.
I need a new
Richie, you
notepad for
require
that.
100.
Same. Too many.
Well, we haven't seen a Tub Plus checkout yet this evening.
Game
Change
shot on
that,
the third leg.
Because
Richie
Burnett pins the ton and he's back into the game at 2-1.
Have you noticed that Richie's
Fourth
using
leg is
a
Richie to
straighter
throw
barrel?
first.
This looks like one of his
Game on.
older sets. Whereas over the last year, when he's come here, he's had a slight taper out to the barrel. A little bit more front loaded.
95.
These actually look, in my opinion, like an old Mark Webster dart. But then again, the old Mark Webster dart might have been based on an old Richie Burnett dart.
43.
And we could ask Richie Burnett what's he using tonight, and to be perfectly honest, he probably ain't got a clue. Did have a rather
84.
funny conversation with Richie yesterday about his 1995 World Championship success. That will be out on Pluto TV as soon as we edit it to its core. It's going to be worth watching.
45.
Let's just put it that way. I don't think I've genuinely had as much fun making television as I did yesterday doing that interview with Richie.
He still enjoys doing that.
180.
And nearly at the age of 60, he can still do it.
And do it very well.
60. Richie, you
And
require
he's got all the time and
142.
space he wants to level up at 2-2. You may remember yesterday in his opening game against Scott Taylor, led 3-0 before then squandering that lead to lose 4-3.
Yeah, 62 left. That was a really good dart from Richie. I'm not sure how that landed.
95.
That's okay.
$97. Richie, you require 47.
He could go anywhere for this. Double top. That is so
Game
good.
shot on the fourth leg. Richie
That's
Burnett.
classic Richie Burnett.
Fifth leg is Lee to throw first. Game on.
I tell you what, you were talking about some of the content we've made with Richie here at the Modus Super Series, and you had a blast doing it. I was given
60.
the opportunity to cook for Richie and Steve Beaton when we did our Oki to oven If you'd said to me
85.
when I was 16 that I would end up cooking a Venetian risotto for Richie Burnett and Steve Beaton, I would have said, what?
100.
But that genuinely happened.
Question 1, did Richie Burnett know what a Venetian risotto is?
He knew what risotto is, and he said he wasn't really a fan of it, but then he really liked it.
123.
Suppose it's a marked improvement on radiator water pot noodle.
That's just one of the many stories.
Honestly, if Ofcom wasn't a thing, could you imagine some of the stories Richie Burnett
140.
could tell?
That's what the book is for later in his career. He's got to have it written. That or some sort of untold documentary. No holds
81.
barred. Tell it like it is. People would want to watch it.
He's a man I'd love to see on I'm a Celeb to get me out of here.
97.
He might be the only celebrity that goes into the jungle that the crocodiles will get scared of.
100.
I think the main reason he'd be
Lee
really good
require
at it
104.
is because the people would love him for it.
Because he's so authentic. What you see, there's no front. What you see is what you get with him.
Precisely. He doesn't have the ability to
37.
hide who he is. And he
Richie
doesn't
require
want to.
112.
That's what you mean by authentic. Now, that leaves 97. 30 more than Evans. You know where he's going next. He can't find it, so Evans has got a chance to make it 3-2 to put himself within one leg
88.
of another Saturday night.
Lee requires 67.
Looking at the 6-7.
Don't do it.
35.
Henry, the next time you do that silly
Richie
dance,
require 24.
I'm going to play with your chair. I'm going to take the pneumatics off it. And you're going to plummet.
Game shot on the
Well,
fifth
Burnett
leg.
is still
Richie
hanging in
Burnett.
here. He's got a 3-2 lead. And it's a sneaky good performance, this.
Sixth leg is Richie to throw first.
Let's not forget as well, when Burnett was playing his first game last night, he was 3-0 up and he lost 4-3. I wonder if that had some sort of effect on him for the rest of the evening.
Game on.
Well, he's hoping for an antiphasized start tonight.
Antiphasized is not a word.
100.
It isn't. And is Evans starting to struggle?
100.
This looks like trouble.
140.
He's got a 140-point lead with the darts. This might be the best chance that Richie's got of joining Meulenkamp and Wilson on 4 points.
45.
And just imagine if you're Scott Taylor. You're sitting on 6 points with a 4-point cushion before a dart is thrown in anger tonight. 3 games later,
60.
you're only 2 points ahead of 3 people. Literally, it couldn't be going worse for Taylor.
As for Richie Burnett, he might be having a juxtaposed
45.
start. I'd mess that up. Don't try big words, Deacon. A juxtaposed start to the night.
I've never been a fan of that word anyway, juxtaposition.
83.
Wish it wasn't a word. Which actually is the meaning of that particular word.
Well, 100.
Things are about to get really, really
Richie
interesting
require
in this group.
118.
And I think things are about to get really quiet in the practice room. He doesn't have to go for this, you know. He could break this down into 32.
86.
I think that's an inspired player. He doesn't want to leave 19. He would rather have 3 darts at 32 than take the chance.
This has been a real rally from Richie Burnett.
171.
However, he's going to be forced to take out the 32 because
Richie
Liam has
required
left himself on
32.
tops. This to reel off 4 on the spin from 2-0 behind. Double 8, but the flight of the first darts just obscure the target a little bit.
24.
Which is why he comes over the top and just veers out to the right.
Well, you've got to give Evans credit. He put the pressure on.
Lee, you require 40.
Burnett is cruising to victory, and then all of a sudden, you're sticking that max on the 19s, and everything could change. This is to stay in the game. He's got 2 left.
Game shot on the 6th
Classy,
leg. Lee
classy
Evans.
considering the circumstances. Richie Burnett knows that he may have potentially missed a big trick. And all of a sudden, Lee Evans has the darts here to
through first.
send himself through to tomorrow night's final. And his opponent has just had a hissy fit in front of a Bluetooth speaker.
That was like a scene from Train Spotting.
60.
So the character played by Robert Carlyle, my word. I think you don't see that in football very often anymore. Because that's a full Zinedine Zidane, that one.
That was 20 years ago yesterday that happened.
Oh, all right.
85.
Of course you knew that.
And Zinedine Zidane said after that the Italians would be cursed there more after. And to be fair, they've not qualified for the last 3 World Cups.
Zinedine Zidane has
100.
cursed the Italians. What is he, Danhausen?
There's another Hausen that springs to mind. But anyway.
$81.
Honestly, watching Richie Burnett play darts should be pay-per-view. I don't know many other players anywhere around the world that garner so much in the way of emotion
84.
than watching this guy for the last 35 years.
You cannot make another version of him.
No, you can't. There'll never be another Richie Burnett.
And so they shouldn't.
100.
I don't think this planet could handle 2 of them.
Still waiting to see him and John Norman Jr. play head-to-head one day.
Nah. There's got to be a better fixture than that.
137.
No. Not quite. Well, Richie is going to be beside himself. He's got to go for the 25. He can't do anything else. If he doesn't win this game, it's going to be all about the fact that he missed 3 darts at 32 to win 4-2. Don't miss the 25.
90.
Okay. If you were going to miss it, hit that.
Lee, you require 120.
Well, this is to qualify Lee Evans through to tomorrow night's final. Got to be careful not to catch it. It's high. But can he nettle away through?
100.
He's had a qualification dart.
Richie, you require 145.
This is still a massive ask. 45. He fancied it, didn't he? When he gets that beautiful first dart, he's thinking, you're mine. Not quite.
105.
He gets the silver medal shot.
Lee, you require 20.
Well, this has been a game littered with twists, then turns. Evans went 2-0 up. Burnett led 3-2. But it's Lee Evans who
And a
crosses the
match.
line
Lee
and is the first to qualify through Group B into tomorrow night's final. He had to work for it against Richie Burnett there, who now leads himself with a lot of work to do. Next up, Scott Taylor takes on Carl Wilson. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. So before the break, Lee Evans got the better of Richie Burnett by 4 legs of 3. 3 games played so far this evening. All 3 games are gone with the player throwing first, which looks like it could be a good omen for Scott Taylor here in game 4 against Carl Wilson. And this is a game which Scott has enjoyed all week long. He's taken great pride in beating Carl and beating Carl handsomely. Last night, kicked off with legs of
Scott to throw first.
10 and 11 en route to a
Game on.
108.75 average. 4 from 4 in terms of doubling 2-ton plus checkouts, including a 109 and a
83.
104 in there. It was a nigh on complete display from Scotty T. And he's in need of a performance here because
100.
he's the one who could potentially find himself on the tungsten tightrope. Lee Evans through, but if Scott Taylor loses this, and then Ron Meulenkamp beats Burnett in the next, he's left
58.
himself in a rather languished position.
Things get really good for Scott Taylor if he wins this game, though. He goes to 8 points.
45.
Worst case scenario, Ron Meulenkamp is 2 points behind him if he beats Richie Burnett next.
100.
But if he loses this game and Ron wins, well. Then you've got 3 players on 6 points at the halfway point, and then there's a bit of a battle royal happening. So maybe it is this fixture that Taylor needs to turn up in again.
96.
Whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but Taylor just likes playing Carl. All week long, he's made Carl
133.
the person who is trailing behind him.
40. Carl, you require 138.
138 here for Wilson to get the break and to open up a 1-0 lead. Not to be on this occasion. So Taylor returning for 1-2-4 to get
58.
the account up and running in this particular
Scott,
contest.
you require 124.
It's a little bit of a different start. You mentioned that 10-dart start for Taylor last night. Maybe he can start with a ton plus checkout.
99.
Not far off.
Carl, you require 80.
Just keep the line. And still. And still. But the weight of dart's perfect.
60.
It is not.
Scott, you require 25.
And so this to draw first blood. Double 12 is usually the target, but it's not going to be now. He's slipped into the 18. Double 2 is
shot on
just
the
pinned
first
into the
leg,
corner.
Scott Taylor.
And that's going to be a last dart. That's going to be a crusher for Carl. Because it all went so wrong, but ended up so right for Scott Taylor there.
We don't have deflections like goals in football, but that felt like one.
Well, Scott Taylor draws first blood in this game. And what is it about Carl Wilson that just seemingly gives
Second leg
him
is Carl to throw
some
first.
kind of muse?
Game on.
That's the way it is in sport. Sometimes you meet someone who you feel really comfortable playing.
82.
Everyone has got one. A person that if you draw them, or if you know you're going to play them, you feel at ease. It's not like you're being
85.
so arrogant that you are saying to yourself, I'm going to beat this person, and I could throw one-legged on a washing line and throw the darts backwards and still beat them.
140.
That's just a state of mind. You feel as if you're going to win no matter what.
140.
Some players will throw the kitchen sink at you and you still think, you're not going to beat me. Every player who's been around for at least 10 years has got a story about a
100.
player that just can't beat them.
The tungsten hex.
$45.
Well, opportunity here for Wilson to get himself back into the game. 6 and 179 to level up at 1 apiece. What he would give for 171 in this suit. What he would give for Crabtree in this suit.
171.
I didn't realise that 3 treble 19s was called a Crabtree.
It is now.
64.
However, Cam
Oh,
never
you
got a look
require
at this
8.
double 4. Wilson's looking at double 2. Now at the Madhouse.
No score.
I don't know if that's worked out for the
Scott,
best,
you
you
require
know.
167.
If you're not going to hit it, you're better off going back to 4s instead of being stuck on 1s.
57. Carl, you require 8.
Back to 4s he is. Down for 2s.
No
I'd like to
score.
say that was a carbon copy, but the last dart was even worse than the previous one. And this shot for Taylor is marginally easier.
Scott, you require 110.
Why does this feel like the type of shot that's going to go? Why do I just get some spidey sense that Taylor's going to find tops and pin the 110? And I'm sure in the underbelly of Carl Wilson, he was probably feeling the same. And that really is going to hit Carl in the solar plexus. Taylor 2-0 up, courtesy of the 110.
Game on.
There's two reasons why that leg went that way. One person couldn't convert after a wonderful approach.
58.
And then you've got the dangerous Series 6 champion who can turn it on at any moment.
He's just got this maverick poise and flair about him.
95.
And sometimes you find a rhyme or reason with him that you shouldn't. Because sometimes you look at the numbers, you look at what he does in the game, and you think, this shouldn't be possible. But at the drop of the hat or at a click of a finger, something can just change within him.
81.
Let's be honest, with Scott's talent level, he shouldn't even be here. He should be on the Pro Tour, doing what Bradley Brooks is doing.
135.
Going to Germany, winning on a Euro Tour stage. He should be vying for titles at the top level because he is a pro level player. But life has not allowed him to have that chance in the long term. He is happy at this level. We are happy he's here.
80.
I hold him in such esteem that he's almost too good for this level.
Yeah, Bradley Brooks, who had his walk-on stolen earlier.
85.
Well, that's old hat. That happens all the time.
Turns out life really is a highway.
Scott, you require 144.
Whoever did it is a highwayman.
Is there another one to add to the collection? And no one to add to the ton plus catalogue? Not for Scott Taylor, but Wilson's looking at a ton to keep him in the contest.
Carl, you require 100.
This is important. And he can't get his way to tops this time.
Scott, you require 55.
Taylor has beaten Wilson to 0 this week. It happened on Wednesday. The first of 2 ton plus averages against him.
35.
He's fluffed his lines.
Carl, you require 40.
Is this the moment where potentially the pendulum swings
Game
back in the favour of Carl Wilson? Because that tops goes to reduce the gap back down to 2-1, and all of a sudden the game returns to throw Wilson for an opportunity to level the game at 2 apiece.
Speaking of that thing that you just mentioned, by the way, about walk-on songs being stolen, is there a shortage of music in the world?
140.
Why do people insist on taking other people's tracks? Do your research and actually get something original. It's not rocket science.
180.
Says, I mean, to be fair, you had a number of walk-ons, didn't you?
Yeah, but none of them were anybody else's.
91.
Although the network that I made my World Championship debut on, they were so stupid
125.
that they actually played Tony David's walk-on song for my first World Championship match. I wanted Sad But True by Metallica, and they gave me Land Down Under, which
85.
turned out to be the most iconic Australian walk-on song for the greatest Aussie of all time in Simon Whitlock.
58.
It's not just the fault of the players, sometimes it's the fault of the network because they push a certain narrative.
Well, Michael Van Gerwen's walk-on song is a mistake.
Yeah, because it was Kim Huybrecht's song. It was played by mistake and he took it.
123. Scott, you require 138.
Double 9 for the 138.
Game.
He's sitting with another big one.
Scott Taylor.
He's firing all cylinders now, Scott Taylor. And what is it about Carl Wilson that has become Scott Taylor's muse over the course of the last 5 days? Carl Wilson has thrown everything at him all week, but he just cannot wrangle away past this man.
Not yet, at least.
78.
You know what he was saying earlier about stepping up and taking things further? Well, I think we've identified
45.
something for Carl. This is the guy you've got to beat. Your muse is now Scotty T.
140.
He's your benchmark player. If you can best him, that's where your improvement's going to come.
96.
If he does not qualify for Saturday this week, that is something he's learned.
Sometimes you learn more in disappointment than you do when you have success. Taylor wins this by a big margin.
80.
It's going to be very, very difficult for him not to make it through from this point because he'd be on 8 points plus 4 if he wins it 4-1.
134.
And it's going to be difficult for the likes of Meulenkamp and Wilson to keep such pace. And remember, as the night develops, Meulenkamp and Wilson have to play one another right at the very end. Well, this is to wrap it up. Lost his first game 4-1.
13.
And he's missed a couple of darts to win his second by that scoreline.
The golden goose in Group B is to have the chance to go through before your final game. If Taylor converts 40 points
97.
here, he's going to have that luxury.
Scott, you require 40.
To get himself back on track.
Game
Double
shot.
top is
And a
there
match.
to seal a
Scott Taylor.
4-1 victory. That was much more like it from Scott Taylor. Okay, a little bit patchy at times, but the good stuff was really good. And Carl Wilson just cannot find a way past him this week. And for all the good gains of his first match, he's pretty much back to square one now. Big game coming up next. Richie Burnett against Ron Meulenkamp. And if a result goes in a certain direction, well, we've learned nothing from the first few games. Welcome back and to the halfway point of our evening, and it is a meeting between Richie Burnett and Ron Meulenkamp. Before the break, Scott Taylor got the better of Carl Wilson by 4 legs to 1. Average of 86.69, 4 from 10 on his doubles. Couple of ton plus checkouts, including the 138. This has become all of a sudden a really important contest. If Meulenkamp wins this, he moves on to 6 points in the table, and Richie Burnett would effectively be out from that point onwards. If he wins it, then all 3 of the players at the bottom of the table be on 4 points, and we're pretty much as you were in terms of the order in this Group B as we get to the halfway point of the night, because if Burnett wins this, then all 5 of the games to kick the night off would have gone the way of the player who has had the honour at the beginning of those particular contests.
Over the last 60 seconds, Richie Burnett has spent his time in the pit lane, repairing his equipment, and Ron's been on the practice track.
In the words of Guido in the film Cars, pit stop. It's a cracking film, Nico.
I didn't say a word.
So much so, 2 players on the Euro Tour wanted to use the track earlier.
You really aren't going to let that go, are you?
I'm not.
As if that's the
First
reason
leg
why
is
they want to
Richie
use
to
it.
throw first. Game on.
Can't even watch the football without hearing that song at the minute. Anyway, Burnett to get us underway. Game 5, midway point of the night.
70.
Yeah, this is the end of the 3rd quarter. Hydration break after this one. I'm not wrong. I'm a big fan of American sports. I can say quarters all I want.
180.
But that's the thing about this group. You do have 3 to 4 quarters of very competitive action.
100.
Sometimes we get to the end of game 5 on a Friday night and it's all said and done. Not tonight. We are going into the 4th quarter and we're going deep into the red zone.
100.
Well, at this point, Richie Burnett can afford to give any quarters now. He's
45.
virtually on the chopping block. Lose this, long way back. Win this. We're having a no man's land in this Group B.
I actually like what you said
45.
at the end of the last game, because if Richie does win this game, we haven't learnt a great deal here tonight because everybody will have won 1 match.
100.
The one major change, though, would be the amount of games left. Scope to get more. And the only person who would be comfortable would be Lee Evans.
100.
Well, Scott Taylor would have a bit of security if Burnett was to win this one, just because of the fact that he's got a positive legs difference, and irrespective of the scoreline, if Burnett was to win this match, the 3 below him would have
55.
a negative
On you require
leg
76.
difference. And actually, depending on the margin of defeat, may well be a case of Taylor may just need legs in his next game against Lee Evans because of the size of the advantage in that particular department. Meulenkamp 88.
$68.
Oh, the 76 doesn't go. What could Burnett make
Richie,
of the
you require
131?
131.
New school or old school? New.
$71.
Who said you can't teach
Ron,
an
you
old dog
require
new tricks?
8.
I just wonder if that second dart is a little bit clouded by that black flight.
score.
Look at that. That did kick over just a
Richie,
little
you require
bit.
60.
Difficult shot for a lefty, that. This one, just a bit over the top. Down the line.
40.
More pain for Burnett.
Ron, you require 8.
His previous game, he was 3 out of 9 on the doubles. But 3 of those missed darts cost him 2 points. And that
No
might
score.
just cost Ron the leg.
Sometimes when you're in the
Richie,
mire, you need
require
one
20.
moment to go your way. This could be it for Richie Burnett. Meulenkamp's fluffed his lines. He has to step in. He does
Shot on
step
the
in.
first leg,
He
Richie
finds the
Burnett.
double 10.
Second leg is Ron to throw first. Game on.
That was the least apologetic apology I think I may have ever seen in my life.
I'm not sure about that. That apology hand was
100.
more like him lifting the World Cup.
Looked like Bobby Charlton in '66, although you shouldn't really say that to a Welshman.
85.
But I was like, I'm going to do it because it's meant to be the right thing to do. But do you think I really am apologetic? Not a chance.
93.
Forgive my ignorance. But outside of darts, what have the Welsh won at World Championship level? As in a World Cup or been the best? Because in darts they have been. Gerwyn Price has won the World Darts Championship. Obviously Richie has been world champion. And some other Welsh players
60.
have. As a team, because we mentioned the World Cup, Johnny Clayton and Gerwyn Price have won the World Cup for Wales. But outside of darts,
60.
I'm not the biggest rugby guy, but I don't think they've won the World Cup, have they?
No, they've not. Not in the men's, not in the women's tournament.
$60.
Now, there was a snooker World Cup back in the 80s and 90s. Now, they would have had some good players, Terry Griffiths, Ray Reardon around that time. I'm just going to see whether they ever won that.
140.
Oh, the Netherlands, Ron's country, they're probably the best country that's never won the FIFA World Cup. But his country have won the PDC World Cup plenty of times, courtesy of Michael van
48.
Gerwen,
Ron, you require
Raymond van
108.
Barneveld, and of course, Koos Stompe. Ron is going for 68 for tops. He doesn't get the 68, courtesy of 417s.
$51.
He's just cutting a figure of frustration
Ron, you
at the minute,
require
is Richie.
57.
He got away with it in leg one. I don't think he's going to get away with it this time. That is now
37.
9 darts at double. Missed. And I don't know what it is about Meulenkamp against Burnett, but they've played 5.5 legs.
180. Ron, you require
Meulenkamp didn't get a
20.
dart at a double against Richie last night. Didn't get any legs.
Game shot.
And
on
he's
the second
finally
leg,
got one.
Ron Meulenkamp. Third leg is Richie. To throw
Right in the nick of
first.
time because
Game on.
Burnett was stalking him after the maximum. Back to back. Not quite, but a really strong start to leg 3. And maybe if you get a maximum at the end of a leg like the previous one, it can just give you that little boost. Maybe it gives your opponent a boost as well.
180.
And is Ron just beginning to build up to something here?
45.
Well, he's not going to go beyond 3 perfect darts in this leg. Now, I've had to look at some sport. Now,
58.
I can't find anything in terms of a Wales team winning a World Cup or World Championship of some description. However, there has been some tangible World Championship successes in other sports in a singles discipline. Wales has a very rich boxing history.
95.
They've had world champions like Joe Calzaghe in the super middleweight division. Nathan Cleverley, Lee Selby, and
Enzo Macronelli.
yes, and then the welterweight champion Lauren Price. Geraint Thomas has won the Tour de France in the past, and of course
57.
Wales has a very rich history when it comes to snooker. Terry Griffiths, Ray Reardon, Mark Williams, of course, winning the World Championship.
Yeah, don't forget about the great Colin Jackson. World record holder,
99.
world champion, incredible 110-meter hurdler.
He actually set the world record in the 110-meter hurdles. I don't know if... Actually,
That's been beaten now.
That has been beaten. The only one we've got is
99.
the
Richie,
Welsh
you require
Rugby
127.
Sevens team winning the Rugby World Cup Sevens tournament. That's all we can get.
Richie on the ball.
102.
Not far off. How many times have we said that tonight?
107.
We saw something similar to this in the previous game, which turned the tide in the favour of Scott Taylor. But what Meulenkamp isn't going to do with the 107, what Taylor did with the 110. So Burnett will be back for 25 to continue this exchange of holds
45.
early on in the contest.
Richie, you
This has
require
been a poison
25.
chalice for the last couple of days. But not for this
Game shot on
guy.
the third leg.
I think
Richie
he's found
Burnett.
his level.
Fourth leg is wrong.
Double
to
10
throw
and double 8 at the
first.
same height.
Game on.
It's working well. And on that subject of Wales being world champions of sorts, if we play this smart and we
65.
don't blow the trumpet for darts too much, if we play this logically, Leighton Rees wins in 78. Richie Burnett wins in the 90s.
40.
Mark Webster wins. Wayne Warren wins. Gedwin Price wins. You've got a Premier League champion as well. Wales have never won the World Cup in rugby. And for such a small
86.
nation of great people, I'm going to say this honestly, and I've never thought about it this way, but I think it might be true. I think darts is their #1 sport. Because their world level ability
81.
in the last 50 years actually proves it.
Yeah, probably the closest sport to it is snooker. Ray Reardon, who won the world title 6 times, known as Dracula for his
180.
widow's peak haircut and vampire-like demeanour.
Yeah, he didn't have much of a tan either.
119.
Terry
Ronnie
Griffiths, who
Require,
won the World
170.
Championship in 1979 as a qualifier in his first attempt. Meulenkamp attempting the big fish. Attempting the big fish. He goes for the big
Game
fish
shot
and he
on the
gets the
fourth
big
leg.
fish.
Ron Meulenkamp.
And that is the albatross.
Yes,
Fifth leg
it
is
doesn't
Richie
happen
to
very
the
often
first.
because people don't leave
Game
it. Congratulations, Ron. You've just got the rarest bird of the lot.
100.
That has been done in this building over the last 4 years less than a handful of times. Jim McEwen, David Davies, Jake McMillan.
Yes.
44.
I can't think of another one. That's really impressive.
$60.
That
has got to be the highlight of the week so far.
Well, it's not been a week that's been littered with highlights. For that, a big moment. We saw
83.
the 167 of Maita Hibma on Tuesday. What a shot that was.
If you keep doing that when you mention 67, I'm going to start handcuffing you.
100.
Just sit still. What is it about your generation? Get obsessed with numbers, like 67. Stop it. Doing my head in.
140.
Imagine you as an opponent at darts. Like playing one of those inflatable long-arm tube men at the car dealership.
Hey, my 46 average got me to a quarter-final the other day.
140.
I had a 46 average of 2 darts. Easily.
$51. Richie, you require 101.
After everything we've seen in this game, Richie's got a chance of a 3-2 lead.
Treble 15 for double 18. Old Faithful won't be left.
50.
There is an upside to getting that 15. Yeah, you haven't got 3 darts at double, but if you've identified a double that works, you can leave it from
100.
51.
Richie, you require 51.
This is beginning to become an important exchange for Richie Burnett. Can ill afford, you feel, to be broken here, but Ron Meulenkamp is going to get an
43.
opportunity for it.
Ron, you require 83.
If it happens, it usually happens to Richie. What's his reaction going to be if the bull is found again?
58.
Not back-to-back bulls.
Richie, you require 8.
Don't go high this time.
No score.
He's having a proper tiff
Ron,
with
you
double 4.
require 25.
Double 4 is not on his Christmas card list anymore.
That's what's been creeping in Richie's game the last 6 months or so. Those misses in clusters. And Meulenkamp can punish to the
Game shot on the
fullest
fifth leg. Ron
extent.
Meulenkamp.
And he leads this game for the first
Sixth
time,
leg is
courtesy of the
Ron's.
game's
Throw
first break. And Richie Burnett
on.
is laughing it off in an exchange of a Bluetooth speaker.
Richie's not playing to the same level
45.
as he was against Ron last night. If he was, he's probably already won this game.
It was this fixture last night where Ron
57.
Meulenkamp did not turn up at all, didn't even get a dart at a double in that particular contest.
Wish I could spend 5 minutes in Richie's head just to see what's going on.
140.
5 minutes in his head would be like 3 days at Alton Towers. It
59.
takes me back to the times that I used to play against him. I've played him all over the world. I've played him in Australia and Vegas, all over Europe. I don't know how I didn't laugh more.
I'll never forget last year when in the first international pairs, all the teams went up to this local competition. And maybe the
140.
organisers, in their not so infinite wisdom, put Richie Burnett on the end board. They'd recently painted a back wall where the board was next to. Well, Burnett had to move over to try and hit a
60.
double. And he has whacked a chunk out of the new paintwork on that wall.
Lovely.
So Richie said, have you got any paint out the back? I will fix it for you.
Well, this is not looking good now, is it?
136.
12 darts thrown. Tops for the match. He's already had a 12 darter in this game. And he might be about to put Burnett on the shelf.
100. Ron, you
Well,
require
it's always
40.
fun watching Richie Burnett, but it looks like the fun's going to stop very soon because Ron Meulenkamp stares down double top to seal a 4-2 win. It will put him onto 6 points. It'll put him in control of his destiny going into the final couple of games in this group.
30.
Not over yet. He's missed 13 darts at a double in this game. The temperature might be going up on the stage as the night goes on, you know. It was around about the 31 degree mark all afternoon, and it was 31 degrees at the start tonight,
10.
but it will be getting warmer.
Game shot.
Well, that
And
ends
match
the
from
Richie with a soft. Ron Meulenkamp puts himself in charge of his own fate going into the couple of games he has to play in this Group B. He beats Burnett by 4 legs to 2. Lee Evans and Scott Taylor is our next game in a couple of moments' time. So this is what we've seen so far this evening at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Lee Evans is the first player to progress his way through to tomorrow evening's final. Whilst the other spots, well, they're still very much open for interpretation. It feels like it's only Richie Burnett that's played himself out of the race for tomorrow night's finals. Whereas the rest of the positions, it really is a case of wait and see. But Scott Taylor, well, he finds himself in the box seat in terms of the race to make it through. That 4-1 win he got against Carl Wilson has put him in a spot where a win here will see him progress through to tomorrow evening's finale. And actually, when you look at the legs difference, it may well be a case of just needing legs from this point onwards to send himself through to the final. So he takes on Lee Evans here, the other player who is guaranteed of qualification through to the finals. He has been able to enjoy a couple of games lap of honour before his night comes to a close, and he'll think about tomorrow night's final, which, just a reminder, kicks off at the earlier time of 5:30 here on Pluto TV, owing to the World Cup quarter-final between Argentina and Switzerland, kicking off at 2 a.m. Don't want to overrun into that.
Do you think Evans is feeling relieved that the job is done now? And maybe he can use these 2 games as sharpeners for another tilt at a title on a Saturday night?
100.
I reckon that's a fair way of looking at it.
Yeah, if you're through, which Lee will know now that he has made it. If you've got 2 games, 59. He doesn't just turn up and go through the motions. You don't go out there with the same intensity as the previous 2 games. You go up there with a very different attitude. It's one of, right, I still want to win, but I'm just going to make sure that I go through the right habits
95.
for 2 straight games, and then I bring those good habits back come Saturday.
There's also an argument perhaps to suggest as well that actually the level he's playing at, when you look at the other players that qualify through, may be enough anyway, because it's not been a week where everybody and anybody has played at an insanely high level.
No, that's true, because
56.
Our Group A winner was averaging about 85. Funnily enough, tonight, Evans is averaging 85. I wouldn't be surprised that come Saturday night, if you average 85 for the evening 65. And that gets you across the line, I would not be surprised at all.
However, there's a high possibility that, and we get to the stage of the series where we look at where players could be sat, there's a high plausibility that whoever wins this week could find themselves in a Group B, Group C in the latter end of the week.
Yeah, that's fair. I did want to make 1 point tonight, though, because we know that Group C wasn't brilliant. Group A was decent.
100.
But I tell you what,
Lee require
the
146.
Series 13 Week 11 winner, if Simon Stevenson from that series plays in this group, he would have hammered everyone.
130.
Probably could have won every game in Group A, B and C.
Yeah, he would have absolutely hammered everyone. He played that well.
If you're somebody like Danny Ayres, for example, who got put in a silly week, you must be thinking, why was I not placed here?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Danny's had it too hard. He's had a rather good week. He beat Michael van Gerwen on Tuesday.
86.
Or it might have been Monday.
He requires 16.
But he made a quarter-final on the Pro Tour. He's had a rather good week.
I think he's about to pop. I really do. Is this leg about to go pop?
Score.
Well, it might not be for Lee Evans.
Scott, you require 24.
Definitely Monday. Because Michael beat the very unfortunate Tom Bissell on Tuesday afternoon.
12.
Uh-oh. You know what happens when you give Evans chances?
16.
He plays the little tune, then he usually hits the double.
No score.
I did say usually.
Because on this occasion, he's missed 6 starts and a double 12. To win this opening leg. So a lesser spotted reprieve here for Scott. One which he takes.
Shot on the first leg, Scott Taylor.
I've got an idea, you know. I think this is something you might get because you've seen Shrek, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Second leg is Scott to
How many
first.
of the Shrek movies have you seen?
Game on.
I've seen Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek Forever After. I've even seen Puss in Boots.
So you've seen them all.
I haven't seen Shrek 3. I don't know why. I don't know why I skipped one. But
Shrek the Third, you mean?
Yes.
Right. So there is a character in the Shrek franchise
100.
where you've got the Piper. And the way that Lee Evans actually does the little flute playing chilling of the
95.
fingertips. What's the song that the piper plays? It's actually a Beastie Boys track. It's a really cool track. That would be a really cool walk-on song for Lee.
95.
I think it might be Sure Shot by the Beastie Boys.
Yes, yes. I've actually got a fun fact which relates the film franchise Shrek, the character Lord Farquaad,
140.
and Portsmouth Football Club. So Lord Farquaad is based off of Michael Eisner, the former CEO of Disney.
That's true.
And Michael Eisner is the owner of Portsmouth
139.
Football Club.
How on earth do you get everything to come back to Portsmouth? I mean, how do you not talk more about the Titanic or things like that?
That sailed off down the road in Southampton, didn't it?
Well, I'm sure you'd find a way to bring it back to Portsmouth, even though it's an Irish ship, by the way.
Belfast, wasn't it?
77. Lee require 167.
167 points. I've warned you.
102.
Don't antagonise me, Deacon.
Scott, you require 96.
Taylor needs 96. And he does not land the double 18, which
56.
would have given him a shot at tops.
Lee requires 65.
That's a beautiful 25. That is a
Game
beautiful
shot on the second leg,
65.
Lee Evans. Third leg is Lee to throw first.
Dart players have got these little habits. So when Lee blows on his fingers, that is to create the ideal amount of moisture on the fingertips that he wants to play with the barrel that he's using.
100.
Simon Whitlock, for years, has cupped his hands and blown on both sets of fingertips. He's done it since he was in his 20s.
140.
And then you've got Boris Kruchma, who's the Olympian hand licker.
And on the subject of hand lickers, we've got Andy Hamilton back here next week for week 12.
57.
Yep, he's definitely on the podium. He wouldn't mind putting in a shift at the end of Series 14. Essentially doing a Scott Taylor from Series 6.
46.
Winning week 12 and then coming straight back and doing the full week in Champions Week. But can you imagine? Just picture this for a second. If this weather continues for the next 2.5 weeks, which is plausible,
60.
imagine going 5-6 days through week 12, having a day off, and then having to do 5-6 days
64.
in Champions Week in really stuffy conditions. That will sap you dry.
Well, it's interesting. I spoke to Jemai van den Herik after he won week 12.
100.
Had a chat with him and he just said, you know what, I needed to play in the Group B, C. If I played Group A, I would have cooked myself out.
55.
I say we've seen Scott Taylor win from week 12. We've seen Cam Crabtree losing a final from week 12. But I'm not sure whether we now know where's strong and where's not, because we've now seen
80.
2 winners come from week 1 recently. Darius Labanauskas and from Jess Smith. We've seen Jack Drayton win from the middle of the series.
Yeah, he was week 9.
But we did have a winner from week 11 right at the very end of last year, because remember Charlie Manby?
82. Lee require 104.
Yeah, he's had a bit of an evening in Leverkusen, hasn't he? 4 ton-plus finishes and lost to Joe Cullen.
How'd you like them apples? How'd you like these apples, Lee?
84. Scott, you require 114.
Taylor's got the option of 19s first on 114, which is becoming more fashionable. Which means in about 6 months, everyone's going to do it. But this is the way it's been done for 50 years.
94. Lee require 20.
Double 10. Just 10.
Game shot on the
That's
third
the
leg.
kind of
Lee
thing he
Evans.
wants to polish.
Fourth leg is Scott to throw
He
first.
believes his
Game
doubles are not as sharp as they should be. So in this game and his last game against Ron Meulenkamp, that's the kind of
57.
thing he can work on. It's not that bad tonight, actually. In his first 2 games, he was 5 from 12.
100.
That's pretty good. In this one, he's 2 from 11, so he slipped a little bit.
45.
I'd say that Evans is a very similar player to Simon Stevenson, who won week 11 in Series 13. Unassuming. Very nice when you get to know him.
100.
But as far as the sport is concerned, you never, ever underestimate him. Also, a former tour card holder.
59.
So very, very similar players, in my opinion. Super dangerous.
Well, the only player of the 5 in this group that hasn't previously had a tour card is Carl Wilson.
100.
There's a bit of motivation for him.
But like we said earlier on today, reputation of the past mean nothing now.
60.
Very true. Yeah, Ron Meulenkamp has a big reputation here. He's not been to a Pro Tour final. Scott Taylor has.
128.
We could be referring to Scott Taylor as a PDC ranking title winner.
64.
But he wasn't able to win the final match.
Lee requires 73.
If he loses this game, he's a little bit exposed.
Yep.
But the tighter the game is, the more that leg difference buffer really helps him.
41.
I think Scott's having one of his bad games
55.
here.
It's coming when he could
He
ill
required
afford it.
32.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a comfort in his position, but that could be very quickly put away. Remember, Lee Evans wins this game, he wins the group.
Game
And
shot
he's
on the
one
fourth
leg away
Lee
from
Evans.
doing both of those things now, and he'll have the darts in hand to do that.
Fifth leg, it's Lee to throw first. Game on.
I think Scott's starting to feel the heat. He desperately wants to pour that water over his head, but he can't. He's still got legs to
100.
play.
I mean, he can, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I've seen many a player do that at Blackpool at Alexandra Palace.
100.
Do you remember the time when Jamie Caven poured the water over Michael Van Kerwin's head?
That was at Blackpool, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. That was 2016 because
125.
Michael beat Jamie 10-0. And the following week, after Michael had won the match play, Michael beat
40.
Jamie 6-0 in the first round of the European Darts Open in Dusseldorf. So in the space of 2 weeks, he beat him 16-0. So no wonder he poured some water over his head.
135.
It's a very quick way of taking somebody off the Christmas card list.
140.
Honours even
Lee require
after 9.
141.
But with Evans having the darts, he'll be thinking that maybe 6 is enough from here. Well, Graham Taylor used to say something. Do I not like that?
121.
Well, that is very good, isn't it? What a great
Sawyer
recovery.
require 141.
And this 141 goes, Lee Evans will be thinking, what sort of thing is happening here?
29.
Hit this and you'll make
Lee
Scott Taylor
require
feel like
20.
a turnip.
Game shot.
Good but
And a
harsh.
match,
That's a
Lee
4-1
Evans.
win for Lee Evans. And that means he is going to top the group. 12 points enough for him. For Scott Taylor, still work to do. His final game comes up against Richie Burnett in a few moments' time. But next up, we're going to see Burnett again. He takes on Carl Wilson.
Decent from Everett so far. Very decent.
Game shot in the second leg.
Look how good that is.
Because I know full well that kind of inner elbow. And he takes out the 1-2-7. So inviting, but he might not even get to come back. Double 12 for a 1-4-1 for Stein de Klerk.
Game shot in the second leg. Stein de Klerk.
It's another one of those required. Double 12 for Kevin Burnett. What a shot. What a find. Yes, Paul
Game
thinks
shot
it
the
is
second
in.
leg, Kevin
It
Burnett.
is game shot.
Paul.
Brilliant.
Game shot on the fifth leg,
Absolutely
Scott
brilliant
Robertson.
from Scott Robertson.
2-1 lead. Time on his side.
Game
Good
shot on the
decision,
third
Terence.
leg. Serena.
2-16s. Oh,
Game
that
shot on
is
the second leg, Andy Hamilton.
effortlessly good from Andy Hamilton. Your Week 5 champion, the Hammer, Andy Hamilton!
Oh, Jared Cole, he's
Game
done
shot
it
on the
again.
first leg, Jared Cole.
The king of the castle, Jared Cole! Yeah, week 12. I don't know about you, Nico, but do you know what? I really like the look of Scott Robertson to go on and win next week.
You really are pulling that cord, aren't you?
I've just got a sense of feeling that he could really do some damage.
All right, let's do it then. Let's go for our dark horse for week 12. You're going to go for Scott Robertson. I'm going for Sean Fox.
So that is how we look at week 12. Who do you reckon the bookies... Now, I don't think there's an odds list out yet, but who do you reckon the bookies would have as favourite?
Oh, I think that's really tough. There's going to be a lot of people who fancy Ted Everts. There's going to be a lot of people who will fancy Chris Wickenden as well. It's going to be a close week. You'll have to watch from Monday morning.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just had a look. There is actually an odds list that's been published, and Scott Robertson goes off 4-1 favourite.
You knew that before.
I didn't.
Yeah, you
I
did.
promise you I did.
Yeah, you did.
I'm not going to lie to you, am I?
Nothing you do is by accident.
I'm not going to lie to you, am I? I'm not going to lie.
Let's
First
get on with
leg
this
is
game,
Richie
shall
to
we?
throw first.
This is game 7,
on.
which in hockey terms is really exciting. But in darts, this is pretty much where the buck stops for somebody.
29.
If Richie Burnett loses this game, he is not going to qualify. If Carl Wilson doesn't succeed here,
85.
he's going to be cut adrift potentially as well.
Interestingly, Richie Burnett refused his last 3 practice darts before the game got underway.
34.
Some people don't want to spend their time practicing darts. We've already seen twice over the last 2 nights Scott Taylor throw that underarm
95.
shot.
Well, Scott Williams very famously clubs the 3 final darts in terms of his practice together and just throws them at the board.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful doing that.
36.
Incidentally, you'll pick Sean Fox 18-1 with the bookies. Ted Everts 10-1.
140.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Sean Fox. I've watched him play as well from close up at the UK Open. I was very impressed with him.
Yeah, played at the Tour Championship, didn't he, last year that we covered together on Pluto TV?
60.
Starting to get the feeling that it's just not in the stars for Richie to succeed in this series.
58.
It could still be Wilson's week, but he's going to have to find his best darts of the week from here on out. That's without question.
140. Cole, you require 123.
140 found there for Burnett. Wilson looking at 1, 2, 3 to get things started, and 6 from this point to get himself off the mark. 46 remaining.
91.
And when he comes back, he's going to be back for 32.
81.
You really should be looking at the
Cole,
ball
you
with the last
require
start anyway.
32.
Plenty of room above that. Just
Shot
like
on
that.
The first leg, Cole Wilson.
Very unorthodox, the style of Carl.
Second leg is Cole to throw first.
But it's become one of those throws
Game on.
synonymous with this place because he's been coming here for a couple of years. One of the best players not to have won a week so far.
54.
If we were to compile a list of 10 players that haven't won a week here but have contended many times,
26.
Carl's on the podium. If not, in some other people's eyes, he's really close. Who for you is the best player not to have won a week?
125.
Are we including specials weeks in this or not?
No. If you've won a specials week, that doesn't count. A Modus Super Series week.
Robert Thornton.
96.
Let's play the seesaw game. Martin Adams.
$140.
Ron Meulenkamp.
It's a good shout. He's been at Champions Week. Hasn't won a weekly title.
134.
I'm going to go with Carl. You know, you could go for
70.
Fallon Sherrick as well.
I
You
was
could go for
thinking-
Lisa Ashton. She's been in a final as well.
I was thinking Brian Amann as well.
Fair shout. He is Pace champion.
45.
Kurt Parry.
Cole, you require 112.
I think you've just won the argument. This for 2-zip and 6 on this point. Double 16. That's
Shot on
so
the
good.
second leg, Cole Wilson.
Just such a
Third leg is
calm,
Richie to throw
measured,
first.
controlled performance this so far.
Yeah, and you and I both know, Henry, that he's been here before. He's been in the final quarter, and he has prevailed before.
121.
If I may say so, he's been in a Group B in this situation, but when he was playing better. If he succeeds tonight
100.
in getting to Saturday, it's because he's got powers that maybe we didn't know he had. Everybody can succeed when they're playing well, but when they're not quite playing their best stuff,
134.
can they still fulfill the objective? We're about to find out.
And sometimes the most
57.
impressive feats and the most impressive achievements that a player can achieve is usually when you can do something when you know you're not playing to the best of your ability as well as you know you can do.
135.
Only for Neil Duff in the past, where he's on weeks where he knows he's been nowhere near the races, but he says they're the ones that he sources the
44.
most pride
Richie,
because he's had to
require
work hard
111.
for them.
$81.
We live in a world
Check 79.
where Robert Thornton has not won one of these weeks, where Martin Adams couldn't, and Richie Burnett has been close as well. Three of the legends of the sport.
140.
If they all don't
Richie
win a
require
week-
32.
That doesn't sit right with me. But since when is darts romantic? All right, give that man a fishing hook and a line and angle it. Oh,
Aim shot in the
oh my
third leg.
God.
Richie Burnett.
what a shot that is! I want to know what he
Fourth leg
said.
is Cole to throw first.
Over to you, Anton. What did he
Game on.
say? What a dart that was!
You know, I said earlier the James Marcroft bullseye might be dart of the week. I
85.
think I want to retract that statement right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That was more difficult. Genuine shock when that went in, because I didn't think he would hit it. And what's more, he didn't even kick up a fuss when he hit it. It's as if, oh yeah, I can hit
57.
that.
So ironically, in those scenarios where you think actually Richie can give it a bit of gusto, is the ones where he keeps things rather
84.
mild-mannered and calm in terms of tempo.
That is such a good shot.
Look, he's still got that in the locker, but he hasn't got it in the locker as consistently as perhaps he did before, as Wilson piles in the game's first 180.
Look, you and I both know that it's in the locker,
60.
but sometimes he forgets the combination. I know that's a bit of a strange analogy, but that's the way it works. It's in there, but sometimes you don't know how to unlock it.
Boxer's ability to punch is never lost. It's just the ability to punch hard enough for long enough, which can sometimes be found wanting.
84.
Didn't go for the treble.
59.
Chance missed for
Richie
3-1.
117.
4-1 has been a very popular result tonight. 4 times we've seen it.
$52.
The second dart was a wide.
Carl, you require 25.
Double 16's been good to him. How about upstairs?
Yay,
Oh, look
fourth
at that.
leg. Carl Wilson.
Nestled it right in there next to it. Beautifully
Fifth leg is
executed.
Richie to throw first. Game on.
If only he could do that more often. All 3 darts, smooth as silk. No kickback, no jerking of the neck, no nothing. They are the 3
58.
smoothest darts he's ever thrown in this building.
But it must be games like this which frustrates him as well, because we've seen those moments, but yet he's unable to find it on the basis that he would like to.
55.
Sometimes it could be more frustrating knowing that you have it in the locker. You just, as you mentioned, you can't unlock it when you want it to.
58.
The key, the literal key, it's not something you hold in your hand. It's not tangible. The metaphorical key is knowledge. It is knowing what to do. And sometimes players get lost in thought, in pressure, in temperature. They get distracted and they forget
86.
what the key is.
Richie require 86.
Look at this for a leg.
Game.
Another
Shot on the fifth
ridiculous
leg,
dart,
Richie
and that is a
Burnett.
12 darter to
Sixth
keep
leg is Cole to
this
throw
match
first.
going.
Game on.
He's throwing some seriously good stuff in this game.
Everything about this game has just been strange.
45.
It's one of those, if you had to do a deep dive analytically about it, it'd be difficult to know where to start and end. The
41.
peculiarity is something that has followed Richie Burnett all the way.
The motive remains the
96.
same. Wilson is trying to put Burnett on the shelf. Because with 1 match to go against Scott Taylor, 4 points would not be enough for Richie.
97.
Wilson's last game was against Meulenkamp.
60.
Still a possibility that might be a shootout.
$100.
If Carl does make Saturday, he usually comes here with quite a lot of support.
100.
He tends to come down here to support others. Shows what kind of guy he is.
125.
Well, I'm sure Carl Wilson want to be winning a trophy and then hoping to see England get one step closer to winning a trophy of their own. In fact, if he qualifies for Group A on Champions Week, he
140.
might well be preparing
Richie
for
require
Champions League by seeing
138.
England lift the World Cup on the 19th of July.
Shots on. It was, and he nearly left double 9.
98.
But the destiny of this game is
Oh,
no
you
longer
require
in his
60.
lap.
Perfect Sightner. That drops low. That cannot
40.
nestle in. And Burnett is back
Richie, you
to
require
take us the
40.
distance.
Game shot on the 6th leg. Richie
He's
Burnett.
throwing some really smooth stuff in this game. There's not a lot between
7th and
them.
deciding leg is Richie. to throw
Attempts at
first.
double.
Game on.
There's 1 dart between them. They're sharing a lot of similar scores. If Carl were to lose this
60.
game, this would sting. He was 3-1 up.
$100.
If he does lose this last leg, Wilson really needs Lee Evans to end on a win to keep Meulenkamp in range.
100.
Although, is this more a situation where Richie Burnett has grabbed the ball by the horns as opposed to Carl Wilson wilting?
I don't think Carl's wilted
42.
whatsoever. Yeah, he's missed a couple of darts, but who hasn't?
$100.
Richie Burnett, a couple of times tonight, has rallied back really well. I know he hasn't won a game this evening, but there's a few times he's found himself in a bit of a
58.
tight spot, but he's been able to try and work his way through the mire. And I think that's an underrated quality of his. Because there have been times where he
100.
has really had to dig out to get some of his biggest wins.
The stats do tell you a story just a little bit. This is a tight game.
60.
Richie's got
Richie
the better
require
average.
141.
He's got the better percentage now. He's got the most 180s.
15.
In darting speak, if he wins, it's a king of the hockey performance. There's no such thing as prince of the hockey. If there was, you just put his face on it.
105.
Although he hasn't got the highest finish.
84.
technically-
Richie, you require 36.
It's not king of the hockey. But
Game
he's
shot.
king of the
Man
game.
match, Richie
And
Burnett.
he does win by 4 legs to 3, which deals a very big blow to Carl's chances of getting through this group. In fact, he won't if Ron Meulenkamp in the next game does take out Lee Evans. Do not miss that after the break.
Well, we've done some maths on the back of a scrap piece of paper during the break, and our numeracy tells us that Scott Taylor has made it through to tomorrow night's final. 8 points is good enough for him to get there in the end. So we're going to see if the finals night field will be completed in a couple of months, because a win here for Ron Meulenkamp would guarantee of his place in tomorrow evening's finale, and it would mean that Mrs. Wilson and Burnett will both be heading for home with a couple more matches to play in this Group B. Well, for these two, they might well meet again tomorrow night, and for Lee Evans, he might be wise to that particular fact, and he might be wise to the fact that if he wins this game, he could knock Meulenkamp out of contention altogether in this group.
Do you know what, Henry? I think something you mentioned to me off the air earlier on is in play here. We have an earlier start come Saturday afternoon. It is already Saturday. It's 12:30 local time.
First leg, it's Ron to throw
Turn
first.
around to when you come back
Game on.
to the building is about 15 hours. That's not a lot. It's not a lot at all. And Lee Evans has got the early bath tonight. He's done after this game. Everybody else,
140.
they've still got to play more. So my advice to Lee would be, get through this game, see if you can get the extra win, get out of here.
140.
Get as much rest as possible. Because the turnaround from B to finals night, it is tighter than usual. It's tight enough as it is in a regulation week.
Yeah, players probably getting around about 3 to 4 o'clock tomorrow to get ready for a 5:30 start. However, I also know 1 or 2 players that would prefer to have that every
85.
week, because the one thing they don't enjoy is the fact that they have to sit around all day finding something to do. I'm rather happy with a 7:30 start time on a regular
100.
basis. There's not change it permanently.
You know what dart players are like? They've always got something to complain about.
Yes. Some more ridiculous things than others.
140. Ron, you require 161.
Ron's actually got 2 chances to make his way through
61.
here tonight.
Lee require 136.
That's not ideal. So Ron can line up for tops. Might need it twice. Hopefully needs it once to take a 1-0 lead against Evans.
90. Ron, you require 100.
Leaves himself on a single to double if Meulenkamp cannot oblige on the ton. This to hang on to his throw. And he has 2 darts in hand, a double top. Opportunity come to pass.
Lee require 46.
He will be disappointed with that. Double 16.
Game
And
shot on
that
the
is
first
very
leg,
nice.
Lee Evans.
What have you made of his
Second
doubling
leg is
tonight
Lee
compared
to
to
throw
last night,
first.
Henry? It's looked fairly similar with the naked eye.
Game on.
Well, let's dissect it a little bit more then, shall we? Because he was 1 from 2 against Carwills and had next to no opportunities. 4 from 10
60.
against Richie Burnett, and then 4 from 15 against Scott Taylor. Yeah, it's rather reminiscent. I mean, let's boil it down to yesterday's numbers, where he was 4 from 17 in this game against Meulenkamp. 4 from 6 against Scott Taylor.
140.
4 from 14 against Richie Burnett, and 4 from 11 against Carl Wilson. So there's not a strikingly big difference in that department at all.
So what we're surmising here is that it's not terrible.
125.
In fact, it's decent, but there's definitely room for improvement.
But name me a player this week that probably isn't feeling that.
60.
I'm going to be honest, as I usually am here. I think there's going to be a lot of edgy games tomorrow.
45.
Because there's a few players that are going to go into this, and that includes Lee Evans, because by his own admission, he says he's playing nowhere near his best. I think there's a lot of players going in there that will almost come in here on the back foot as opposed to the front
100.
foot.
I think Lewis Pride, he might come in on the front foot. If he's watched for the last couple of days, he's not seen anybody to be afraid of.
I think as the day's gone on, his case to win tomorrow night has strengthened and then some.
171.
There's only one thing that goes against Lewis, really. He looks a bit Norwegian. He's not. He's from Yorkshire. But he does look like a Viking.
Yeah, he's a bit more a up duck rather than going for a row.
45. Lee require 100.
That's in.
90.
That isn't. Well, that was still a really good try.
Ronnie require 156.
Well, he's taken out the 170 tonight, has Ron Meulenkamp. Can the 156 join the club? Not on this particular occasion.
He, for a second, thought he might have snagged the bottom right corner of that treble 20.
$95. Lee require 10.
Double five has come to his aid earlier tonight. And it does
Game
again
shot on
in
the
pretty
second
much the
leg,
same
Lee
spot.
Evans. Third leg, it's Ron to throw first. Game up.
I actually had a communication via X tonight from somebody who knows Paddy Williams. Remember Paddy from Merseyside?
Paddy the Baddie.
Yeah, another nickname that belongs to
120.
somebody else. That is for another time. Because we were talking about 170 checkouts off the back of 180 approach shots, known as the darting albatross. Well, one of his mates got in touch and said that
60.
Paddy's not happy that you didn't mention his 170. Well, hang on. Did Paddy get the 180 before the 170? I don't think he did. If he did... Sorry, Paddy. Should remember things like that.
Yeah, otherwise, Paddy has every right to be throwing a paddy.
$85.
And not many people have done that, period. Apparently, Richie Burnett has never hit a 170. But he's seen one hit here tonight.
85.
It's a pretty cool feeling when you get a big 6-star conversion, Henry. Something like 3-4-1. You hit a 180 and then you get a 161 off the back of it. It's a really cool feeling.
We've never really tested that
100.
theory of Richie Burnett never hitting a big fish, because I'm sure if he went onto YouTube and searched Richie Burnett 170, there probably is one there somewhere.
Maybe that's for another time.
59.
Well, that is not a great second dart.
85.
It made
Ronnie
the
require
next one
100.
so difficult. I'm not surprised to see him pull it to the left.
$60.
Carl Wilson really does need a big win for Evans here, doesn't he?
57. Ronnie require 40.
4-0 could be a distant dream. Still an open bed.
20.
Well, Evans could indeed still be
Lee
3-0
require
up.
114.
Carl Wilson might think it's Christmas if that's the case.
And all of a sudden, this could be a symphony of music for Carl Wilson. If Evans can find a way through the 114, he's not going to get. 76 left.
54. Ron, you require 20.
As you said, Lee would love to end the night with a 4-0 win if he possibly
Game
can.
shot on the third leg.
But that is a
Ron
thought
Meulenkamp.
that could be consigned to the distant past.
Fourth leg, it's Lee to throw first.
Meulenkamp
Game
brings
on.
it back to 2-1.
You see some players on Friday nights,
97.
and you can tell whether they like playing late or not. Some people really don't like it. Tommy Morris does not like playing late. He'd rather play in the morning.
60.
But I look in the eyes of Meulenkamp and I see someone who's still got a lot of energy.
But this is mainly because, and you know quite well, that Dutch players, in terms of the stuff they play locally, they play deep into the night.
They certainly do. It's cultural.
And it doesn't matter what level you're at, you still play your local stuff. Jan van Veen still has it
45.
up until recently. Jimmy Van Schie and Jermaine Watermina were playing a Dutch version of a local league final last night.
Yeah, I saw that picture on social media.
$140.
It's both heartwarming and baffling at the same time. Because you've got two professionals going at it locally like that.
I suppose it's no different to the
81. Lee require 124.
people at Waterlooville that get ensconced by Modus Super Series players at their local tournament every week. Imagine rocking up there, your local league on a
92.
Wednesday, and you see Neil Duff, Simon Whitlock, Steve West, Scott Campbell, Ital.
They're used to it.
60. Lee require 32.
This is for 3-1.
Game shot
No
on the fourth
problem.
leg. Lee Evans. Fifth leg is Ron to throw first. Game
One
on.
more win. He will win the group on 14 points. That has been done only once in this series. It was Jensen Walker in week 7
56.
when he was besting Danny Ayres and Radek Sagansky, and he won the group by 4 points. However, twice we have seen somebody go through Group B without defeat in this series. Scott
91.
Campbell and Archie Self in back-to-back weeks in week 4 and week 5. Campbell did not win the week, though. Archie Self did, because he had an undefeated week, much like Derek Coulson did
39.
when he was getting 19 games won in a row. Not out.
Watch yourself. It'll be one of the main protagonists you feel when
60.
Champions Week arises in around about a fortnight's time. Look what Evans is on.
It can't happen twice in a day.
134.
No, not having it.
Well, technically today is another day because we've crossed the midnight threshold.
All right, twice in a session then. See, there you go. I like the fact that more people are leaving it, by the way.
60.
There are two genuine routes as to why people leave 350. The way that Evans has, he scored 91 at the start and he got 60.
123.
Then there are people who get a 59 start and they get 92 thereafter on 418s. The only other way I can recollect that someone's left 350 was when
Ronnie
they scored a ton,
149.
and then it was 20, 19 and treble 4 on a double switch attempt, which is 51, of course.
$43.
Somebody's feeling the heat on the stage. I get the feeling that the temperature might be hotter than 31 now, because this time last night it certainly was.
100.
To a
Ronnie
certain extent, you
require
don't really want to be playing in
106.
Group B this week just because of the fact that the temperature, the conditions they like to been on all day, it's going to be like a cauldron out there. Meulenkamp cannot find the 106.
45.
This Could well be a group
You
which
require
sees a shootout right at the
130.
very end of it to see who's going to make it through. Evans is safe in the knowledge that he will be playing darts tomorrow night. He's looking to finish this group with a little fish. With a bit of a fanfare, but he cannot find the 130.
Ronnie requires 61.
Every leg that Meulenkamp wins is like a
Game
dagger
shot
to
on
the
fifth
heart of
leg,
Carl
Ron
Wilson.
Meulenkamp.
If you think that doesn't matter, Ron, think again.
Sixth
It
leg is Lee
matters.
to throw first. Game on.
Ron's got a points lead, and he's also got a leg difference lead. The tighter this game is, the better the chance of Meulenkamp actually making
85.
Saturday night.
And of course, if he wins the game, it's all irrelevant because he will have guaranteed of his spot into the finale. Bit of a kick there, wasn't there, with the last dart?
He's never really been the smoothest of throwers. He's always had a little bit of afters. Let's put it that way. You throw the dart and something else
95.
happens, whether it's a hooked follow through or a little kick of the back leg. A little bit of shifting of the lead shoulder.
Because of the rigid
60.
action that he has, it means that every dart has to be thrown. Anything that isn't perfect as it leaves the hand, it's just going to skew off. Simple as that.
97.
Here's another big hit.
140.
He's been pretty good in that department. He's got more two treble visits than Lee.
60. Ronnie require 161.
164 faces 161, and it's 161 of Meulenkamp first up to bat to take us all the way. It's the bull. And it was nearly another barnstormer from the bomb.
Lee require 164.
This would be some way to win the group. Officially. This afternoon we did see a rather remarkable bullseye. And it turns out that that bullseye did win Group
Ronnie
C.
require 25.
Well, to keep things going, that was so close to busting.
Shot on the sixth flag.
But how
Ron
many times after you get away with one there does the
Seventh
double
undecided leg
thereafter
is Ron to throw
comprehensively
first.
sail in? 14 darter, and we go all the way.
Game on.
And this a huge leg. Richie, Burnett and Carl Wilson are praying that Lee Evans finishes on 14 points, because if he does, then they've still got a floating cope of progressing through to tomorrow night's final. Burnett would have to beat Taylor 4-0 to stand a chance. But if Ron Meulenkamp wins this leg, then the final two matches on this Friday night / Saturday morning / whatever you want to call it will be dead rubbers.
What you've just said about the scoreline for
100.
Burnett. That's what makes what Meulenkamp has done in this game really clever. He could have lost this game by 4 legs to 1. He hasn't. He's made it tight. He's made it difficult for Wilson and for Burnett.
28.
He can still get to -5 legs difference.
That's
a crushing blow.
180.
Is that really the first 180 of this game?
60.
What a time to get it.
And it's been one of those contests where there's been a lot of good stuff in it.
$90.
I was just about to say you don't mind that treble 5 as long as you don't get another.
Well, has all the hard work
43.
in terms of
Lee
getting
require
himself back in the contest. He
131.
trailed 3-1, got it back clever. Feels like that graft that he put in is being undone. 6 from here for Evans.
54.
54 left, should be a single 14 to leave double top. It is a
91.
single 14 to leave double top.
Coming into tonight, he only needed to win once.
60.
Hit this shot,
Lee require
he'll win 3
40.
times.
Well, by his own admission, it has not been the best version of Lee Evans so far this week.
Game shot.
But he has found the winning touch in Group B. He's won 7 out of 8. Only dropping the 1 game at the beginning of this evening throughout the course of the last 2 nights. And it means that we have got a race in our hands going into the final couple of games. Burnett has to win and win big against Scott Taylor next. Welcome back to the penultimate match of the night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And it is a meeting between Scott Taylor and Richie Burnett. And for Burnett, it's a case of needing to win and needing to win big. As for Scott Taylor, he is safe in the fact, safe in the knowledge that he has progressed his way through to tomorrow night's final. He's very much enjoying the company of Richie. I get the sense this is going to be a game played in very good spirit. And Richie Burnett has threatened to blow Scott Taylor a kiss. Well, you said there was no romance in darts. You might be proved very, very far wrong, Mr. Nicholson. Well, I've got no idea what's going on.
Scott Taylor knows a few people in this sport, but he will not know anybody as unpredictable as Richie Burnett. And let's face facts, it does take quite a character to break the character of Scott Taylor. He's usually someone who just gets along with it.
First things first,
80.
change of equipment.
Yeah, new flights. But he has been tinkering a little bit with stems and flights over the course of the week. Not massive changes. Yeah, these flights here, they look
81.
They look bigger, but it's a bit of a visual illusion. They're just a different colour. And darker flights always look smaller.
So by
43.
our reckoning and by what we think the permutations are correct, Burnett has to win this one to 0 to stand himself a hope and make it through because of the fact Wilson and Meulenkamp play in the final game. And those hopes look as if it's going to be dealt a bitter blow because Scott Taylor's found a 180 to leave himself on a finish after 9 with the darts. Looking at the 160, but he's not going to get the 160 on this occasion.
62.
It started so well. Ended so badly.
81.
If Richie doesn't qualify, he knows why. He's had opportunities.
Scott, you require 98.
Well, this is to officially dump out the Prince of Wales. Double 12.
74.
He's still
Richie,
alive.
you require 156.
But for how long? Oh, look at that. Right on line. Just couldn't nestle it into that lipstick bed.
92.
That might have been the
Scott, you
last
require
chance he's had
24.
to save his campaign. Scott Taylor likes his target. He likes
Game
it
shot on
very
the first
much.
leg, Scott Taylor.
And that will send
Second leg is
Burnett
Richie to throw
packing.
first. Game on.
It's good night, sweet Prince of Wales.
$125.
Here we could have some shenanigans for the remainder of this contest.
Taylor's definitely got the bit between his teeth.
100.
He managed to get a 4-3 victory against Richie on Thursday night. It was a bit of a weird game, wasn't it? Because Richie was 3-0 up.
140.
And all of a sudden, Taylor found a purple patch in the middle and Richie missed 10 match darts.
180.
Despite hitting 4 double 18s in that contest, because the first 2 legs that Richie won to put himself 2-0 to the good, he had found 2 double 18s in consecutive legs.
81.
Yeah, you don't often see back-to-back double doubles. Something's happening with Scott Taylor in this game.
180.
He's
Richie
finding
requires
plenty of maxes and he's
155.
having that one big game, isn't he?
Well, it was late last night against Carl Wilson where he found a bit of a purple patch.
68.
Maybe he's finding something similar here.
Scott, you require 41.
Potential 11 darter for the break in a 2-0 lead. Double 12.
29.
Must be something about players from Bolton liking to playing around midnight. Joe Mernon used to be like that.
Richie, you require 87.
Lisa Ashton didn't have a bad record, did she, when she played in Group B's here? Haven't seen Lisa play here for a while.
77.
We're not going to see a double 5 hit by Burnett.
She's got a big job on 2 weeks on
Scott, you
Sunday.
require 12.
Trying to defend that Women's World Match Play. Double 3. Good luck with this one.
6. Richie, you require
So
10.
2 5s to level us up. Double 2.
6.
Too many of those.
Scott,
Too
you
many
require
chances
6.
offered to his opponents.
Four.
If Burnett's not careful, he's going to join Taylor in the madhouse.
Richie, you require 4.
Well, we saw a rotten leg earlier on today, didn't we, in Group
Shot on the
C?
second
But
leg, Richie
we're not
Burnett.
going to get anywhere
Third
near
leg is
that
Scott to
kind
throw
of
first. Game on.
shambles this time around, as this game's levelled up at 1 apiece.
125.
There's a seasoned veteran of the Modus Super Series, showing his angst, but still keeping it
45.
quiet. Because he wouldn't want someone to do that against him. So he doesn't do it to somebody else out of respect.
87.
I'm not here tomorrow night, Nico, as you know. But, you know when you just get a sense and you just get a feeling about something?
45.
I don't know what it is, but I'm just getting a feeling about Scott Taylor, you know, potentially winning tomorrow night.
96.
He's done it before. How many weekly titles has he got now? 5. If he gets a 6th,
60.
he's alongside Derek Coulson in the all-time list. But he's got a series title as well.
And he's a proven course and distance runner.
122.
And I just think when push comes to shove tomorrow night, if he can get out of the group, get into a semi-final, final, I think he'll find that X
85.
Factor performance somewhere along the line.
71.
Look at Richie pleading with the board. Richie, it's a receptacle. It only receives what you give it. Double top.
51.
Taylor will have to wait. Go downstairs, use the 16s of the 19s.
137. Scott, you require 20.
Trying to win a darts match. Andy's being entertained by his opponent.
Game.
That
Shot on
is
the
a
third
bulldozing
leg.
dart
Scott
at double 10.
Fourth leg, it's Richie to throw first. Game on.
He's a man of very few emotions, but when you get to know him, Scott is a really nice guy.
60.
But the way he plays the game, it's like he's throwing hammers.
58. 140.
Was that a side eye?
96.
Look,
82.
when Scott Taylor is finding the lens, then something's up. He's a straight-laced kind of player. He's not looking for clicks or some sort of social media moment.
140.
He's a player. He's not a character. But if he's starting to flick us the odd look, what on earth have we done?
$100. $171. Richie,
Yeah, that'll do.
119.
Richie decided not to switch in his previous visit. Hence, he had to go for the awkward 119.
59. Scotty required 36.
218
Shot on the
for
fourth leg,
13
Scott
darter.
Taylor.
Best leg of the game so far. 3-1 Taylor leads, and now with the darts in hand to win this match.
Fifth leg is Scott to throw first. Game on.
And such is the chaos in this game, neither knew who was throwing first.
That happens a lot. You find yourself getting a little bit dizzy with the constant
57.
circles of getting the darts from the board and addressing the hockey and the pressures of the game. Every now and again, you forget the rhythm. And you wonder, am I throwing first?
60.
One thing we do know is that Carl Wilson will be throwing first in the final game, and he's got an uphill task if he wants to overtake Ron Meulenkamp.
41.
I think Wilson should be grateful because Lee Evans has given him a chance. It's a slim one,
119.
but he's still got hope. And what we will do at the start of
59.
the next match is we will give you the exact permutation.
$100. $60.
I wonder how many different types of flights Scott Taylor brought here. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if he's got these off somebody else. There's quite a nice collection of communal flights in the practice room. I wouldn't be surprised if he's looked at them and said, oh, I like those. I'll give those a try.
80.
They're very old
Richie,
school
you
James
require
Wade, aren't
97.
they?
Yeah, same colour, different shape. But they're very, very James Wade.
$34.
A chance to put the pressure on. You know how much he likes to leave tops and 12s. Well, from 204, he's thinking max to leave 24.
140.
That is still monumental
Richie, you
pressure.
require 63.
$10 for tops.
23.
That could be that. Taylor has had a lot
Scott,
of
you
darts at
require
double.
64.
He just needs one more clean kill, and then he's done for the night.
And that'd be all roads
Game
to
shot. And
Saturday
the match,
evening
Scott
for the
Taylor.
former series champion Scott Taylor, who gets the better of Richie Burnett by 4 legs to 1. For Burnett, it's always great fun to see him here, but his journey this time round will not see him in Saturday night. We'll find out who, after the break, is going to join Scott Taylor and Lee Evans when Carl Wilson takes on Ron Meulenkamp. So our final game of the night is a meeting between Ron Meulenkamp and Carl Wilson, and is to determine the last spot through to tomorrow night's final. If Ron Meulenkamp gets to 2 legs in this contest, he would have done enough to have sealed the 6th and final spot through to finals night, which will be in around about 16 hours time from here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. So Carl Wilson needs to win this game 4-0 or 4-1 to snatch the final place through at the hands of the bomb. And time is ticking.
Essentially what he's got to do is reverse
85.
the result from Thursday night. So if Ron can do it to him, he has to believe that he can do it to Ron.
140.
Seems like a really tall task.
100.
And it is. But as with every Group B, it's a culmination of 8 scenarios. It's been really tough for Carl this week.
85.
He did well to get into Group B. Let's put it straight. But it was Lee Evans that dominated this group with steadiness, consistency.
180.
And if there's been one player that has really suffered at the hands of one person this week, it has been Wilson against Taylor.
85.
That could be the reason why he doesn't make Saturday this time.
He's got 6 minutes to get the first one on the board.
60.
And the fact he has the darts does make the 4-0, 4-1 scenario just a little bit easier, because if he can hold here and break in the next, he'd have the darts in leg 3 to go 3-0 up, and then he'll give himself a bit of a buffer.
Shots like this have got to go. That is very, very good.
Carl Wilson.
Keeping Meulenkamp at arm's length.
Game on.
And showing him, I can front run. In order to win 4-0 or 4-1, you've got to be able to get out of the blocks and stay there.
60.
And he hopes that his imposition will lead the Dutch
96.
Inquisition, because if he could get up to a quick start, then he'll just ask in the mind of Rob Meulenkamp 1 or 2 questions.
Well, East Sussex did not have a good Friday. Adrian Gray
40.
fell in Group C in what were very tough conditions.
$125.
Essentially what you've got around Royal Tunbridge Wells, St Leonards-on-Sea, Hastings, that area of East Sussex, you've got a rivalry in ADC darts between Wilson and Gray. And they've both been put through the ringer the last few days.
100.
If I may say so, this is going rather well for Carl.
Well, we
41.
did see a reduction in performance last time out against the Evans. Average 79 in that
96.
previous match, shall I say.
Oh, things are getting drastic now.
68. Carl, you require
That's not
84.
great. Wilson has a chance to extend his lead. He didn't want to be aggressive.
59. Ron, you require 158.
But he's paid Ron full respect. He could have laid up and rolled the dice. He decided not to. Oh, my word. What happened there?
Well, you can see the puncture mark. You can see the puncture mark towards the left-hand side of the treble 20 bed, right on the corner, right next to the wire.
80. Cole, you require 25.
He doesn't fail on the single 9.
9.
Oh, that was such a big
Ron, you
chance.
require 78.
He's had 3 darts to win this second leg.
Every opportunity Ron Meulenkamp gets is a step closer to home for Carl Wilson. If he gets his tops, the man from Kent will be at the point of no return.
58.
That's a big reprieve.
Cole, you
didn't
require
have enough
16.
air. Oh, it just
8.
cascades away. The deflection was too much.
Ron, you require
He's
20.
had 3 visits to win this leg.
6 missed darts at a double in this game. Is it going to be a game that's about to be level? Carl Wilson is at the point of no return.
Third leg is Cole to throw first.
Simply put, he has to win the next 3 legs without reply if he's going to make it through to tomorrow's final.
And he's not going to be feeling good after losing that leg.
100.
That could be the difference for Carl Wilson between comfort and chaos. Between having a 2-leg buffer and the opportunity to move 3 clear, and now Ron Meulenkamp has a gluttony of chances of securing his place.
85.
And he'll know he needs 2 legs because he's as smart as a cookie.
He's
not done yet.
180.
How many times, if you play this game long enough, do you put those 3 legs together when you don't necessarily need to? You might be in the middle of a long
68.
format match. You might be playing best of 5 and you just reel off 3 in a row in 45 or less. That's what he
91.
needs to do now. It's game 23 of the week for Wilson. And he needs
41.
what we call a
Cole, you require
blitz.
130.
3 legs without response, and he's got to keep Ron away from doubles.
98.
Well, he's left himself on 32 after 12. Meulenkamp needs 2 big trebles with the last 2 darts to leave himself on a finish, unable to
60.
oblige.
Cole, you require 32.
And in terms of this leg, he's probably happy to concede. He's going to get an opportunity
Game shot on the
in the
third
next
leg.
to serve
Carl
it
Wilson.
out. And straight to the next we go. 13 darts for
Fourth
Carl
leg is Ron
Wilson.
to throw first.
It'd be really exciting if Wilson wins this leg. Then it's a 1-leg shootout to see who gets the last spot.
It'll be a darting equivalent of the Mexican standoff.
100.
Because both will be at the point where they can do the same thing. However, the match may not
81.
entirely be over. But it would be over if Ron Meulenkamp won that leg, despite the fact that we're carrying on. It's 20 past 1 in the morning. Let's not explain any further.
60.
Trebles have dried up for Ron. There's nearly 20 points in between their averages. Wilson's had twice as many darts at
100.
double. See, that's where percentages tell a bit of a fib. Yes, their conversion rates are the same.
180.
But this is one of those games you've got to watch in its entirety to understand what is happening.
100. Ronnie
Well,
require
he's hanging on.
161.
He's going to need mistakes from Meulenkamp now. He really could have done without that. Meulenkamp is really starting to motor.
And sensibly decides to set up.
121.
He can almost reach out and touch Saturday night now. He's just 40 points away from it. for Carl Wilson. He has grafted all week long, but it looks like that hard work is going to end in no reward. Because this may well be Meulenkamp's moment, but there's an air of precaution about this last dart at tops, which nettles underneath.
Again, the second dart flattens out a little bit and isn't a marker anymore. This would be ridiculous. And it's just the wrong side of the wire.
36. Ron, you require 20. Game shot on the fourth leg.
And that seals Ron Meulenkamp's place into Saturday night's final. 2 legs was what he needed. 2 legs is what he's got.
60.
Yeah, I think Carl's going home with a lot of learning experiences from this week. He's played a lot of darts. He's thrown a lot of legs. And he's still one of the best players who hasn't won a weekly title.
140.
He will only get one more chance this year in Series 15 because it's inevitable that he's coming back.
58.
And I'm sure that the Global Championship will also be something on the horizon. Well, they had confirmation of Ron Meulenkamp joining Scott Taylor and Lee Evans in tomorrow night's final
60.
live from the earlier time, remember, of 5:30 here on Pluto TV.
Well, don't forget as
57.
well, if Wilson still wins this game, he's not going to qualify, but it would result in something that hasn't happened in this series. Ron Meulenkamp could be the first person to qualify for a Saturday night through Group B with only 6 points. Tickets available for Champions Night in a couple of weeks, and indeed tonight
require 161.
here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Make your way down if you can. But you must get your tickets from the website.
Yes, and I believe tickets for Double Trouble have gone on sale as well. That's always a fun night. Opportunity to meet some legends of
44.
the sport.
Ron, you require 38.
And if you like, he's Scott Mitchell. There's Ron Meulenkamp. Pins double 19 to lead 3-2.
Game on.
Ron's played at the Grand Prix.
He has.
I remember when he qualified, he was sitting backstage with a Dutch crew at a European Tour event waiting for a certain result to come, and it came in, and then he realised he was in the World Grand Prix. He was so happy. We all thought he was going to kick on from there and get into the match play and become one of those mainstay players. It didn't quite work out.
140.
Just goes to show, even if you've got ability, it doesn't always work out for everyone, does it?
There's only so much room at the table.
99.
I think there's going to be a few players at the end of this year that sit outside the 64 and the PDC Order of Merit that might just see what that feeling's all about.
Let me just give you an indication of what darts is like. There's a world match play table of 32 seats. Daryl Gurney walks in. Is there room for me?
140.
And they say, sorry, Daryl.
136.
Tough score as it should be. Yeah, I think there's going to be some big names bitterly disappointed come the end of this year because they've lost their tour card.
128. High require 170.
Well, Wilson's not going to find the 170. This is to bring it to a close. This to bring the night to a close. Ron Meulenkamp looking at double 4. Double 2. Can he just nestle it over the top? That's the answer.
Carl, you require 74.
Tops.
54.
That was a tired
Ron,
shot.
you require 2.
So this, to bring the night to a close, it's the Madhouse for Meulenkamp.
No score.
Drags it low. He may still have
you
another leg
require
left to
20.
play.
Game
we
shot on the
do.
sick flag, Carl Wilson. Seventh
what
and
happens
deciding leg
here?
is Carl to throw first.
Does Wilson leave on a win?
Game on.
Does Meulenkamp become the first person to go into Saturday night with 6 points from a Group B campaign in Series 14?
137.
You know, if that happens, there are going to be plenty of players who have been in Group B over the last 3 months saying, hang on a minute,
64.
I got 6 points. Why couldn't I qualify for Saturday? Well, it's a very different situation every week.
That's like Liverpool fans moaning
100.
because they got 97 points one year that they didn't win the Premier League title. Yes, it was a good campaign, but you finished second.
$100.
This is good.
Doesn't
get any better.
180.
Might be a nice parting gift.
58. Carl, you require 84.
Well, he's not going to progress through to tomorrow night's final, but he can finish with a win.
64.
That would have maybe brought a little bit of a wry smile to Carl Wilson's face.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think his guts are wrenching right now because he wants more.
99. Carl, you require 20.
Well, he's going to have to wait till next time. Might split this. Treble two,
Shot.
double
And
two.
the
Well, it's a
match,
funny
Carl
way to
Wilson.
finish. Carl Wilson gets over the line by 4 legs to 3. He beats Rob Meulenkamp and he will finish with a win. It's not enough to send him through to the finals tomorrow evening. Those spots will go by way of Lee Evans, Scott Taylor and Ron Meulenkamp. Well, let's have a look at what we've seen tonight then. This is how the second half of the session finished up in Group B. Lee Evans dropped his first match. That was the only game he dropped throughout the entirety of the group. And for him, Scott Taylor, Ron Meulenkamp, Saturday night beckons. We can confirm that by having a look at the table. Lee Evans, the best player, wasn't he, in terms of the group? But for Scott Taylor, what would be your assessment of the way that he progressed through into Saturday?
I think I've seen this before from Taylor. He's done enough. He's had a bit of fun against Richie Burnett. He's shown a little bit of flair every now and again. He's had 2 really good games in the group. But the fact is, Lee Evans was Mr. Consistent.
Well, we saw some big finishes from Scott Taylor, including this 138 again against Carl Wilson, who he caused all sorts of problems against this week. And so this is how this week has looked. This is the tournament breakdown, and this is how Saturday's going to pan out. Lewis Pride won Group A on Wednesday afternoon, whilst early on today we saw the culmination of Group C. James Marcroft and Devon Peterson, the 2 players progressing there. And as you can see, Lee Evans, Scott Taylor, Ron Meulenkamp all through to tomorrow night's final. So let's have a little look at the groups then, Nico, and just get your assessment as to the way things are. Peterson and Marcroft, without any shadow of a doubt, are going to have to improve, otherwise they will go out of the first term.
Yes, that's incredibly fair. I think Lewis Pride will be very happy to see a familiar face in Scott Taylor. Devon Peterson is going to have to find another level if he's going to make it into the semi-finals here in week 11. I think Marcroft, he might be quite happy with Group 2 because there are question marks maybe over Meulenkamp. As for Lee Evans, I think he'll be quite happy with Group 2.
So that is how the groups are going to look, and of course the earliest start time tomorrow evening of 5:30. But plenty to keep you entertained in the interim here on Pluto TV. You mentioned that Oki to happen, didn't you, earlier on tonight? That's going to be our next programme here, featuring Richie Burnett and Steve Beaton. Hell's Kitchen, you could probably call that. And then we've got the Tungsten Talk 2 with Bo Greaves, the 3-time champion of the world, and about to play at the World Match Play, the Women's World Match Play, that is, potentially for the final time, because by next year she could and probably should be in the top 64 of the world. That's tomorrow, before we get the darts started at the earlier time of 5:30. Do make a note of that in your diary. And then looking forward to seeing Ted Everts back. It's been a little while since we've seen him here, about a year or so. He's going to be getting week 12 underway Monday morning from 9:30 a.m. For the asset, Paul Nicholson and myself, Henry Deacon, thank you so much for your company this evening. We'll see you tomorrow from 5:30. Till next time, take care. Good night. Bye from us.
The new Modus Super Series champion. Oh my word!
It's another incredible moment tonight.
Jeff Smith!
It's matched out.
5-star performance.
Ball for big fish.
It's